Death is only the option for success for this kid. Breaking news echoes across Babylon as the Black Dragon Guild decides to attack the 40th floor of the tower. Confident and ready to showcase the Black Dragon, the guild faces another failure in their quest to become the world's first. Sadly, the future of the guild takes a hit as they once again return empty-handed, with the #1 ranked hunter being the reason for the setback. The elusive Flame Emperor once again achieves victory, defeating a boss solo and setting a new record. Greeted with a familiar acknowledgement, the Flame Emperor remains the only one to accomplish such feats since the tower's appearance. An attempt to solicit a few words from the Flame Emperor is met with defiance. Expressing frustration with the nickname, he rejects Flame Emperor and suggests the name The Plague, considering it embarrassing. A note clarifies the insulting connotations of plague in Korean. In the studio, an individual expresses envy towards the Flame Emperor and vows to find and make the creator of the nickname apologize. They yearn for the freedom to speak without consequences. Global attention turns to the Flame Emperor as the whole world watches. Questions arise about his nationality, with some questioning why his personality isn't seen as problematic given his legendary hunter status. Despite criticisms, broadcasting companies allow it to continue. Allegations surface as the individual defends their wish to be like the Flame Emperor, stating they are merely stating facts known to broadcasting companies. Rumors about the Flame Emperor's relationships intensify. Surprising revelations unfold as rumors suggest Saint, the individual's friend, refutes claims of dating the Flame Emperor. The desire to be like the Flame Emperor grows stronger. The broadcast concludes abruptly, raising questions about greatness, being ignored, and the struggles of being a low-ranking F-class hunter without skills. Expressing intense jealousy, the individual yearns to be like the Flame Emperor, desiring success with their own skills or possessing the Flame Emperor's abilities. In an unprecedented turn, the tower reacts to the individual's unsightly envy, granting them a skill. The tower acknowledges their determination and honest efforts, praising them for their achievements. The narrative leaves viewers in suspense as the individual questions the nature of the acquired skill, marking a significant turning point in their journey within the tower. The tower's sudden appearance in the world captures global attention, visible on the horizon from any point on Earth. Individuals with nothing to lose enter the tower first, discovering its interior filled with monsters from other worlds. Some fortunate ones receive a skill chosen by the tower, leading others to flock to the tower in pursuit of hunting monsters. An observer recalls witnessing the Flame Emperor on the battlefield, noting his skill with the flame spear and comparing him to Nataraja, the Hindu god Shiva, in his destructive dance. Viewers discuss the Flame Emperor's actions, expressing mixed opinions on his attitude despite achieving rank I. The Flame Emperor tops the hunter ranking, followed by the Black Dragon and Viper. A sudden twist unfolds as accusations are made against the Flame Emperor's Saint, accused of poisoning his drink, reveals a deadly plot, claiming the Flame Emperor's innocence with the aid of his skill. Tensions rise as Saint confronts the Flame Emperor, and questions about their relationship surface. The conversation takes a dark turn as Saint, armed with a lie detection skill, seeks answers about an alleged plot to kill the Flame Emperor. A dramatic confrontation ends with the Flame Emperor deciding the rules of the conversation. The conversation becomes a battle between survival and potential death. Saint interrogates, seeking information about a plot from the Black Dragon. The narrative takes a surprising turn as Saint accuses the Flame Emperor of being a murderer, leading to a chaotic confrontation. The Flame Emperor's intensity is unveiled as he deals with the accusations and seeks the truth. The Flame Emperor's actions and words leave a chilling impact as he confronts Saint. The tension escalates, and the truth remains elusive, leaving viewers in suspense. A sudden shift in perspective occurs as the narrative transitions to someone observing the events, questioning the nature of the Flame Emperor's influence and actions. The story takes a darker turn as the observer Yu Sona claims to have a lie detection skill and accuses Saint of attempting to kill the Flame Emperor. The confrontation intensifies, leading to a shocking revelation and a decision to end a life. A poignant moment unfolds as the observer reflects on their fate, expressing regret and a desire for a better outcome. The story takes a tragic turn as a new skill is acquired through death. Breaking news announces the Black Dragon Guild's attempt to clear floor, showcasing their skills but returning empty-handed once again. The Flame Emperor, however, solo clears the boss, leaving the world in awe and confusion. Confusion engulfs as the protagonist, waking up at home, questions the events that transpired. Recalling the Flame Emperor, a desire to use his real name rather than a nickname emerges. The protagonist discovers a rare skill card, allowing them to copy an opponent's skill upon death. Another skill card surprises them, enabling a return to the past 24 hours before death while retaining memories and abilities. Baffled by the legendary hunter's power, the protagonist unravels a sinister motive behind the Flame Emperor's actions. With a unique way of figuring things out, they reveal an attempt to poison them, creating a tense atmosphere. In the aftermath, the protagonist shares their perspective on success, warning others not to hinder their path. A mysterious countdown begins, indicating a potential clash. The narrative shifts to a city within the tower, referred to as Babylon or the First Floor City. An urgent situation arises as fire erupts, and the Black Dragon Guild temporarily takes control. A rescue mission is initiated to aid survivors. The citizens, living in extreme conditions, discuss the absence of the Saintess and speculate on her relationship with the Flame Emperor. A sense of distrust towards the Flame Emperor grows among some citizens. The Flame Emperor arrives and is asked for assistance in extinguishing the fire. Uninterested in community service, he departs, leaving a bystander aware of his darker side. Intent on exposing the Flame Emperor's true nature, the protagonist determines to kill him. However, a catastrophic event unfolds, leading to the protagonist's death. A skill activates, allowing the protagonist to return 24 hours before their death. As they grapple with the revelation, a news update reports the Black Dragon Guild's plan to attack the 40th floor. The protagonist, armed with the ability to go back in time, reflects on their journey of awakening and the mission to stop the Flame Emperor. The narrative concludes with a countdown, marking the protagonist's repeated attempts to change their fate. The protagonist successfully activates their unique ability, allowing them to rewind time to a point before the notorious Flame Emperor's legend is established. However, the process involves dying more times than initially planned, enduring the pain of each death and the time spent in between. With the determination to alter their destiny, the protagonist embarks on a quest to locate their elusive prey, setting the stage for a gripping narrative. 11 years ago, on May 6th, the protagonist awakens, reflecting on the agony caused by the countless deaths and the resulting toll on their psyche. Repeatedly revisiting the same day, the protagonist meticulously observes the daily routine of Yusuha, an F-rank hunter caught in the monotonous cycle of hunting slimes on the second floor of the tower. In an unexpected encounter on the 6th floor, Yusuha faces a moral dilemma when a fellow hunter pleads for a potion after being attacked by wolves. The protagonist seizes the opportunity to exploit Suha's desperation, extracting a substantial sum of gold from him. As the day unfolds, the protagonist learns more about Yusuha's life and struggles, gradually uncovering the complexities beneath the surface. A tense confrontation arises between the protagonist and Yusuha, leading to a dramatic revelation about the true nature of their existence. Determined to eliminate any potential threats to their plan, the protagonist takes decisive action, setting the stage for a high-stakes showdown. With the countdown initiated, the protagonist embraces the challenge of rewriting their fate, armed with newfound knowledge and skills. In a twist of fate, the protagonist encounters the enigmatic Sword King, sparking curiosity about his actions and motivations. As the narrative unfolds, questions linger about the Sword King and the potential impact of his choices on the world of hunters. Sword King. The mysterious disappearance of Marcus Callenberry Abilo, known as the Sword King, creates a void in the Hunters Association, raising concerns about the potential consequences. Absent for 22 days, his absence becomes particularly pronounced when Flame Emperor Yusuha rises to prominence. Speculations circulate about the Sword King's exceptional abilities, emphasizing the need for an S-rank offensive skill that activates upon death, a stark contrast to the protagonist's unique skill. Online discussions provide fragments of information about the Sword King, hinting at his enigmatic past and a possible connection to a super. However, the mystery surrounding his skill and habits remains unsolved. A warning surfaces about the consequences of speaking certain words in front of the Sword King, shedding light on the cautionary measures required to avoid provoking him. In a public hunting space, clashes between high-ranking hunters and the Sword King hint at underlying tensions. The protagonist observes the unfolding events, contemplating the intricacies of this elusive figure. Rumors circulate about the Sword King killing a human, prompting skepticism and debates among the online community. The protagonist contemplates the credibility of these rumors and their potential impact. The Sword King's preference for solitude becomes evident, and the protagonist discovers the delicate balance required to approach him without triggering a violent response. A curious encounter takes place between the protagonist and the Sword King, with the former tailing the latter. The Sword King perceives the observer's presence, leading to an unexpected confrontation. The protagonist, attempting to mask their intentions, engages in conversation with the Sword King, seeking to understand the mysterious figure's abilities and motives. The Sword King reveals a unique skill that exposes the number of humans the protagonist has murdered. The protagonist's attempts to justify their actions are met with disdain, and the Sword King expresses his own stained past. A tense confrontation ensues as the Sword King condemns the protagonist for their ruthless killings, revealing the staggering count of 4,091 above their head. The protagonist faces the consequences of their actions, realizing that the Sword King views them as a demon deserving of death. The looming threat of the Sword King's relentless pursuit becomes a central focus in the unfolding narrative. The intense battle unfolds as the protagonist faces the Sword King, who commends their skill as a first-rate assassin. The Tidibua's old man observes the interaction, and the protagonist contemplates the authenticity of the talking to himself skill. Suspicions arise about the Sword King possibly sharing information, and the protagonist realizes the dire consequences of being labeled a murderer who killed 4,091 people. The threat of becoming a wanted man in the Hunters Association looms, prompting the protagonist to consider a drastic decision. The protagonist engages in a conversation with the Sword King, subtly addressing family matters and expressing concern for the safety of the teacher's grandchildren. As the protagonist contemplates the Moon and the Sword Saint's attack, thoughts turn to reaching new heights and acquiring powerful skills. A moment of decision arrives as the protagonist willingly faces death with the hope of gaining the skills of rank hunters from two eras. However, the revelation that there is no gold card raises doubts and challenges the legend of Marcus Callenberry, who reached the top without an S-rank ability. Amidst the protagonist's desperation for an op skill, the skill card is opened, revealing an A-rank passive skill. The protagonist grapples with conflicting emotions, expressing a desire for a rare martial arts or aura awakening active skill. The tension escalates as the protagonist, fueled by a sense of greed, opens another skill card with an unclear name. The unfolding events leave the protagonist in suspense, questioning the nature of the newly acquired skill. The old man interjects with a reminder about maintaining manners and discretion during night training, adding a touch of curiosity to the narrative. The old man scolded, reminding him of the importance of discretion during nighttime training. The plea for manners echoed through the conversation, a teacher's concern for a student's behavior. The mysterious encounter deepened as the old man questioned the presence of someone unseen. The revelation that the invisible figure could not only be heard but seen raised further intrigue. Confusion set in as the old man found himself in an unfamiliar, tiny space. The search for a mentor named Marcus Callenberry intensified, with hints of a title, the Sword Saint. The narrative shifted to unveil the identity of the unseen entity, a wandering spirit with the knowledge and skills copied from Marcus Callenberry, a sword master from another world. The old man grappled with the revelation, questioning the spirit's connection to the title of Sword Saint. The spirit confirmed being a copy of the old man's skills, leading to a comical exchange about a refund. The spirit lamented the old man's failure as a pupil and revealed that the teacher had been kidnapped by an enemy. The plea for a quiet existence resonated with a plea for respect. The conversation delved into the challenges of the spirit's existence, hiding from the sword saint, and the complication of a copied skill. The mention of a kill count skill heightened the tension, revealing the spirit's own count of 4,091. A debate ensued as the old man questioned the legitimacy of the high kill count, only to learn that each death was a deliberate act to gain experience and seek revenge against a future villain. The narrative unveiled Kim Gongja's immortality and the motive behind copying Marcus Callenberry's skill, the pursuit of the strongest skills to become more powerful. The spirit, now identified as Kim Gongja, explained the necessity of honesty due to the skill card's limitations. The old man acknowledged Gongja's resolve and encouraged him to showcase his hunting skills. The conversation transitioned to Gongja's past life as the Sword Emperor in another world, clearing a tower similar to the current one. The Flame Emperor's legend and subsequent transformation into a wandering spirit added depth to the narrative. Gongja's unique talent, the lack of fear for death, was identified by the old man as a significant and rare trait. The revelation led to a realization of talent beyond innate abilities. Gongja shared the inspiration behind his numerous deaths, driven by fury and a desire to defy the Flame Emperor's dismissive attitude. The old man, impressed by Gongja's resolve, offered assistance in overcoming Marcus Callenberry, hinting at a collaborative journey to conquer the tower. The narrative concluded with the prospect of a shared quest for dominance in the challenging environment. In this lively and energetic exchange, Gongja finds himself rudely awakened by someone named Pung, who seems to be in no hurry to rise. Gongja, full of energy, demands 5 more minutes, much to Pung's annoyance. The spirited dialogue continues as Gongja, undeterred by Pung's protests, threatens to serenade him with a song that could burst eardrums. The early morning banter escalates, revealing a dynamic relationship filled with humor and playfulness. As the conversation unfolds, it becomes clear that Gongja possesses a unique ability to project powerful sound waves when he sings. The scene is set at 4 in the morning, and Gongja's enthusiasm is met with resistance from the still sleepy Pung. In a comical turn, Gongja suggests that the bug should be crawling at this hour and, considering Pung's weakness, he should rise earlier. The narrative then delves into Gongja's musings about the Sword Saint's early morning training routine and his own training schedule, introducing elements of the fantastical world they inhabit. The transition takes the reader to the mention of a guild called Give and Take, where Gongja plans to claim his lottery prize. The guild, led by Countess, holds economic power over the tower, making it a significant entity. Gongja's anticipation and curiosity about winning the happiness lottery add a touch of excitement to the storyline. The narrative emphasizes his desire for financial gain and introduces the quirky Countess, known for her affinity for cats. The story takes an intriguing turn as Gongja unveils his plan to undergo background checks, adding a layer of suspense. The portrayal of the lottery as an easy way to earn money adds a lighthearted touch to the narrative. The storyline moves into the guild's premises, with Gongja cautioning his companions about potential dangers. The mention of Yu Suha's lottery win and the potential risks associated with being a winner adds depth to the plot. The introduction of Arthur Taylor as the safekeeper adds an official tone to the scene. Gongja's detailed consideration of his prize and decision to keep it safe in the guild's custody reflects his strategic thinking and adds complexity to his character. The narrative explores Gongja's broader goals beyond financial gain, hinting at his ambition to conquer the tower and stand at the top of the hunters. This revelation provides insight into Gongja's character and motivations. As Gongja contemplates the value of the prize, the story takes an unexpected turn with his request to buy an honorary guild membership. This reveals Gongja's pragmatic approach to safety and protection within the tower. The narrative concludes with Gongja's meticulous planning, asking for a new home recommendation and instructing the guild to identify him as an honorary member if asked. This showcases Gongja's strategic thinking and attention to detail. The story wraps up with a lighthearted remark, highlighting Gongja's banter with those around him. The final lines set the stage for Gongja to enjoy the privileges he has earned, adding a sense of anticipation to the narrative. In this lively and humorous interaction, the protagonist and his companion discuss the importance of acquiring tuition fees for classes. The conversation takes an amusing turn as they consider the next essential element needed for their pursuit, a textbook. As the protagonist contemplates the necessity of a skilled teacher or an elixir to enhance physical abilities, the dialogue takes on a playful tone. The mention of the Alchemy Castle Guild and a potential elixir from a renowned pharmacist adds an adventurous flair to the narrative. The banter continues as the protagonist expresses concern about the potential cost of such elixirs. The narrative unveils the character's financial constraints and introduces the concept of seeking bulk discounts to ease the financial burden. The pacing of the story quickens as they rush towards a store, with the protagonist requesting a slower pace. However, a sudden change in their plans and a warning to hide foreshadows an unexpected encounter with someone known as Old Man Marcus. The tension rises as the characters find themselves in a precarious situation, hiding in a rubbish bin to avoid detection. The revelation that Old Man Marcus frequents the store adds an element of urgency and suspense. As they navigate the challenges of avoiding Old Man Marcus, the story introduces the idea of seeking a talented pharmacist who resides in a less-than-ideal location. The narrative cleverly combines humor and suspense as the characters proceed cautiously. The characters' dilemma escalates as they discover that the renowned sword saint is also in the same store. The plot thickens as they debate whether to enter the store and their concerns about being one step behind. In a surprising twist, the protagonist reveals knowledge of a talented pharmacist who resides in a seemingly unremarkable place. The narrative hints at the possibility of acquiring top-grade elixirs at a lower cost, adding an element of intrigue. The story concludes with the protagonist's inner musings, contemplating the potential reactions of those around him when they discover the vast amount of money he possesses. The mention of an experiment and the protagonist's visit to a mysterious place sets the stage for further adventures. The characters' humorous interactions, unexpected twists, and the introduction of a talented pharmacist create an engaging and entertaining narrative that leaves readers curious about the unfolding events. In this scene, the protagonist enters a seemingly shabby place, reassuring the companion about its cleanliness. The atmosphere becomes tense as doubts arise about commissioning an elixir from the lady in question, questioning her abilities. The protagonist proposes a significant commission of 20,000 gold, leading to a discussion about trust and payment. Despite the lady's lack of basic manners, the protagonist offers to transfer the money in advance, displaying a willingness to proceed. The lady, with strong convictions despite her financial struggles, declines drug-related requests but agrees to create a unique elixir. The protagonist reveals the formula, consisting of various ingredients, highlighting the lady's potential to become the alchemy lord. As the conversation delves into the intricacies of the formula, it is revealed that the elixir aims to enhance reflexes. The lady's knowledge and dedication to her craft become evident, showcasing her potential as a skilled alchemist. Days later, in a hotel provided by the party, the lady delivers the elixir. The protagonist contemplates the efficiency of the elixir and the lady's exceptional skills, recognizing the value of the commissioned formula. A humorous encounter unfolds as people eagerly wait for the alchemy lord, displaying the lady's popularity. Despite initial skepticism, the protagonist defends the lady's skills, emphasizing her potential for greatness. The lady expresses gratitude for the commission, explaining the delay in the process. The scene shifts to the hotel, where the protagonist reassures the lady, acknowledging the initially stated timeline of 4 days. The protagonist receives the elixir, calculating its efficiency in comparison to other stores. The lady questions the protagonist about his frugal spending habits, leading to an amusing internal dialogue. The narrative transitions to the protagonist's observation of a mysterious figure who is skilled, kind, and possesses the ability to read people. The protagonist contemplates the importance of forming alliances with kind hunters to bring positive change. The following day, the protagonist moves to the third-floor hunting grounds, contemplating the challenges ahead. The lady suggests drinking the elixir, leading to a surprising taste experience. The elixir's effects become apparent as the protagonist gains enhanced perceptions and reactions. The lady explains the presence of an aura in hunters and emphasizes the importance of controlling it fluently. The scene concludes with the lady urging the protagonist to run, utilizing the enhanced abilities granted by the elixir to avoid harm. In this intense training sequence, the protagonist is urged to release and use their aura to avoid getting hurt. Despite initial resistance and disdain, the protagonist is compelled to train seriously. The antagonist, referred to as a damned ghost, taunts the protagonist with threats and challenges. The mention of increasing the kill count adds a sinister undertone to the situation. The old man's involvement is hinted at, suggesting a potential mentor or influencer. The protagonist, under the effect of the elixir, struggles to synchronize their perception of attacks with physical reactions. Guidance is provided to the protagonist on how to evade attacks by charging up the aura in their legs. The analogy of a footpath in a deep forest is used to explain the need to create a highway-like path for the aura to flow smoothly. Her exceptional skills are acknowledged. The protagonist questions what happens when their metaphorical footpath becomes a highway, hinting at a significant breakthrough. The antagonist recalls a past incident involving Old Man Marcus and encourages the protagonist to focus their aura on the tip of the blade. A unique training method is introduced, involving dumping all aura into the tip, resulting in intense pain for the protagonist. The narrative delves into the protagonist's physical and mental struggles, emphasizing the toll of using aura without a proper path. The concept of a 100-death plan is introduced as a means of training, highlighting the protagonist's unique ability to regress after death. The protagonist experiences death, leading to a moment in the netherworld. The option to randomly copy skills of non-monster monsters is presented, introducing a new element to the story. The protagonist chooses a skill card, adding complexity to their character development. In this amusing scene, the characters engage in a conversation about selecting skills from cards. The protagonist questions why a powerful skill is given to a newbie instead of a seasoned hunter. The characters discuss the collapse of a hunter's skill and the process of choosing a card. There's a playful banter about the uncertainty of card selection, with one character expressing annoyance at the lack of information on the cards. A unique element is introduced where one character claims to see the details of the skills by observing the backside of the cards, and another character, Bei Huryung, is mentioned as being able to move as he wishes, allowing him to see the front of the cards. The narrator reads out the details of two cards, one involving orcs maximizing fertility and suffering from rutting, and the other having a mysterious phrase, chiik. There's a humorous twist as the characters react to the potential consequences of choosing the second card. The protagonist is advised against selecting the second card, and there's a comical exchange about the character's identity being called zombie or gongja based on the situation. The scene concludes with a playful interaction where one character tries to deceive another by chanting chiik, leading to frustration and an exclamation of anger. Despite the humorous tone, the characters decide to move to the 4th floor, signaling the continuation of their journey. In this intriguing sequence, the characters are celebrating the defeat of a challenging enemy, the king. The protagonist expresses strong emotions over the victory and laments that they barely hunted the king after 6 coins. There's a humorous exchange about the value of coins equating to lives. The narrative introduces the concept of goblin philosophy and explores the idea of existence becoming apparent with the protagonist's increasing hunter rank. The characters discuss the significance of aura types, linking them to the hunter's trauma and memorable life events. The conversation touches on the aura types of other characters, such as Yeomjae, who had a fire aura, and Gumsong, whose aura is associated with moonlight. The protagonist wonders about their own aura type, and the group decides to move to the 6th floor. A bet is proposed regarding the protagonist's ability to clear the 10th floor with a limited number of coins. The characters discuss the challenges of the 10th floor and the consequences of failure or success in the bet. The protagonist shows confidence in their abilities and agrees to the bet's conditions. A new character enters the scene, expressing concern about solo hunting on the 10th floor. The conversation shifts to the bureaucratic nature of the tower, including the role of auditors and the challenges of navigating the system. The protagonist learns about the hardships of the new character, who is dealing with the loss of a lover and a terminal illness. In a poignant moment, the new character shares their desire to challenge monsters until the end, presenting money saved for hospital bills. The protagonist, sympathetic to their situation, decides to let them enter without recording their presence. The scene concludes with a shift to the 10th floor, teasing a challenging encounter with a mysterious entity inviting the characters to play hide and seek. The narrative builds anticipation for the unfolding events on this higher floor of the tower. In this dramatic scene, the narrative unfolds with a report about the renowned guild, Black Dragon, which has faced its 30th failure in the tower. The interview highlights the guild's frustration and explores the reason behind their repeated failures on the 10th floor. A mysterious figure questions why the Flame Emperor, a specific type of hunter, was the only one successful in clearing the 10th floor. The revelation comes in the form of an announcement from the stage boss monster, urging the participants to play a twisted game of hide and seek. The boss monster explains the rules of the game, involving finding a single real doll within a mansion while facing the deadly hellfire, made with aura. It is revealed that the Flame Emperor's success was due to his unique ability to withstand the flames with his fire-type aura. The narrative takes a darker turn as the character faces the challenge of enduring the flames. The Flame Emperor's apparent luck and skill are contrasted with the protagonist's struggles in the intense situation. There's a mention of old man Marcus, who can endure the flames for an extended period, highlighting the vast difference in skill levels. The tension builds as the protagonist contemplates their limited coins and the difficulty of the challenge. The boss monster taunts and challenges the protagonist's choices, implying that their chances of success are slim. The protagonist decides to take the risk, considering two potential ways to clear the stage. The scene intensifies as the protagonist counts down the seconds until their aura runs out. There's a hint of frustration and disbelief at the unconventional nature of the boss stage, and criticism is directed toward the tower itself. The narrative concludes with the protagonist's death and the acquisition of a new skill, emphasizing the high stakes and challenges within the tower. Just one bread, please. Mister, I'm hungry. Anything. Even scraps are okay. A plea for sustenance breaks the silence, a hungry voice seeking the most basic of provisions. Beggar this morning. Just a slice of bread. Aren't there more orphans begging in our neighborhood these days? Judgment and indifference color the response, an observer dismissing the common sight of beggars in the locality. It's okay, even if it has mold. There's nothing to eat because of famine. I'm very hungry. Desperation and the harsh reality of famine echo in the words, revealing the dire circumstances faced by the hungry soul. Gwa, these gross kids. One bread, please. I don't know where they are coming from. I wish someone would clear up all of them. Disdain and irritation mark the sentiment, a wish for the disappearance of those perceived as a nuisance. Ouch, mister. Do you have parents? You look very hungry. Your body also hurts everywhere, right? Compassion pierces through, an acknowledgement of the pain and hunger etched on the child's face. Come with me. I'm a doctor. I have a lot of your friends in my mansion. You can get treatment together and play with them. A seemingly kind offer emerges, blending care with the suggestion of a better life for the orphans. Kind mister, when can I go out and play? I'm so hungry. Innocence and longing intertwine, a child's yearning for play despite the hunger that plagues them. Be patient. One who seeks food just because of hunger is an animal. Just because you were born like an animal doesn't mean you should grow up like one, right? A stern lesson is imparted, mixing discipline with an attempt to instill a sense of dignity. I know you orphans very well. You don't work because of an excuse that you are young, traveling from village to village spreading diseases like a virus. I'm a doctor and a guard who removes diseases like you. Sacrifice yourself. This country's famine is one cause. These orphans only know how to be children of weaker Zaruka's passion and our country's viruses. Save the world by sacrificing yourself to God. Kill them. Accusations and a disturbing call for sacrifice taint the discourse, revealing a distorted perspective fueled by prejudice. Kind mister, we don't have enough sacrifices. We need more for the next event. Where are you taking my friends? Why do you keep hurting us? Confusion and fear intermingle, the innocence of a child questioning the cruelty inflicted upon them. Why? Wow. Skit, what is this? Are you seeing this? I saw it from the beginning. I forgot that you were here. I can't see you. I guess only our consciousness is floating around. Puzzlement and realization blend, as the surreal nature of the situation becomes apparent to the observer. That doesn't matter right now. How can they be this crazy? It's probably the 10th boss's personality. Shock and disbelief color the response, as the characters grapple with the inexplicable and bizarre circumstances. Recalling the trauma, enemy who you have, I had no idea that a monster could be a human before. Not all monsters are like this. Only the bosses. Boss monsters are formed based on events in the other world. The other world's creatures, heroes, and everything else. A revelation unfolds, uncovering the true nature of the monstrous entity and its origins tied to events in another realm. You didn't ask. It becomes clearer from the 11th floor onwards. Why didn't you tell me that? But it's my first time experiencing the recalling trauma thought too. Yu Soha would have 100% found the real doll and popped its head. A sense of betrayal and realization looms as the characters grapple with the consequences of withheld information. Whether or not he saw this trauma, without hesitation. So what? I don't want to be like Yonje Bastard. Defiance and a rejection of a seemingly ruthless approach emerge as the characters confront the ethical implications of their actions. So, what's your plan? Are you a little child? So, now, you're not going to clear this boss because you don't want to be like him. You need to kill the boss to clear this floor. You zombie. Challenges are issued, with a call for action and a reminder of the overarching goal in the face of moral dilemmas. Who decided on damn it? I don't know anything from the beginning. Do you remember when you made a scene to make me choose an S-class skill? Wow. Do you think I am zombie? Of course, I remember. Frustration and confusion dominate the exchange, highlighting the character's struggle with the unfolding events. Skill, be wary, takes effect. Mister, you're not burning. Hua, isn't it hot? Then you can play with us. A protective shield manifests, offering a momentary respite and an opportunity to engage with the situation. Yes, hide and seek it is. Be careful, everyone. I never lost a round of hide and seek when I was little. Enthusiasm breaks through as the characters embrace the chosen game despite the underlying tension. Mister is weird. I'll start counting. Hide. Everyone hide. I can see your hair. He's playing hide and seek with kids who stuck to the run and hide well. Unease and suspicion seep into the game as the characters navigate the peculiar circumstances. Run far away. Let's run so that he can never find us. Don't get caught by Mister. Okay, I'm going to start. A strategic decision unfolds, reflecting the character's attempt to escape the unsettling situation. I found you. Wrong, it's not me. Then is it you? No, that's not me. It has to be you. Nope, not me. Wrong, it's not me. Not me. Not me. A playful exchange ensues, blurring the lines between reality and the imagined game. Nope, not me. Not me. Not me. It's, will you play with us? Caught you. It's your turn now. A twist in the game is revealed as the characters navigate the unexpected turn of events. Kind Mister. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Normal stage clear. Hidden stage clear. You have cleared the boss stage. Gratitude fills the air as the characters emerge victorious, marking the culmination of their strange encounter with the boss stage. Entrance to the 11th floor. Activates in 24 hours. The narrative begins with a proclamation detailing the conquest of Hunter Kim Gongja and the forthcoming reward that sets the stage for the unfolding events. A reflection on the challenges of clearing hidden stages and a contemplation on the harsh realities of the world paved the way for a moment of acknowledgement and praise for the protagonist's accomplishment. Floor stage has begun. The 11th floor will be open in 24 hours. An announcement heralds the beginning of the next stage, creating anticipation for what lies ahead in the virtual world. A mysterious revelation from the narrator hints at a connection between past and present, adding an air of intrigue to the unfolding narrative. An exploration of characters and their roles in the virtual world adds complexity to the plot as the mystery of the cleared floor deepens. A shift in perspective acknowledges the protagonist's journey, marking the beginning of a new chapter in the virtual adventure. A comedic exchange ensues, adding a touch of humor and camaraderie to the narrative as characters banter about rewards and recognition. A humorous moment unfolds as the characters attempt communication with the sword spirit, injecting levity into the increasingly complex storyline. The narrative takes a whimsical turn as the characters engage in banter, addressing the intricacies of their virtual existence with a mix of humor and camaraderie. A new development emerges as recruitment offers are extended, bringing forth the complexities of alliances, secrecy, and the protagonist's desired conditions. You've got guts. The protagonist, unfazed by a cat's transformation into a human, engages in a lighthearted exchange. Ms. Ryan-Ju's presence adds mystery. The narrative shifts to a discussion about rewards and the protagonist's skills, escalating to involve higher-ups in the conversation. A test unfolds regarding the offered reward and the protagonist's skills. Negotiations intensify as the characters navigate the strategic landscape. Higher-ranking guild masters enter the scene, raising the stakes of the encounter. Nostalgia mixes with tension as coffee orders lighten the atmosphere, providing a momentary respite. The coffee orders reflect personalities and add a touch of humor. The protagonist's request for hot chocolate sets him apart. A brief reflection on fear and strength reveals the protagonist's unique perspective. The introduction of a young guild member adds unpredictability to the situation. The protagonist's call for authenticity resonates as guild masters grapple with their own strategies. The focus shifts back to the central question of the protagonist's allegiance. The discussion expands to the broader implications of the protagonist's decision. The conversation delves into practical concerns, exploring the intricacies of the virtual world. The protagonist confronts the idea of becoming a symbol. A poker game proposal introduces unpredictability to the negotiations, emphasizing the protagonist's desire for equality and transparency. The poker game becomes the focal point, blending elements of strategy and chance. The unfolding dynamics create a suspenseful atmosphere as the narrative approaches a critical turning point. The poker game heats up as players reveal their hands. The protagonist's exceptional luck and skill leave others baffled. Accusations of cheating surface, leading to a revelation about the protagonist's rank advancement. The atmosphere shifts from suspicion to camaraderie. The newcomer gatekeeper's past unfolds, revealing a tragic history. A discussion ensues about the tower as a haven for those with diverse backgrounds. The notion of equality among challengers and the importance of individual stories takes center stage. The conversation explores the tower's unique environment, emphasizing unity despite diverse origins. The protagonist's straightforward attitude stands in contrast to the complex dynamics of the outside world. The Ukrainian girl's perspective adds a poignant touch to the narrative. The poker game becomes a metaphor for life in the tower, where challenges and losses have their own merits. The protagonist's determination to conquer higher floors and the acknowledgement of rivals set the stage for future endeavors. The tower's role in fostering equality becomes a central theme. As the protagonist emerges victorious in the poker game, the acceptance of equal footing is sealed. Declarations of ambition and a commitment to face challenges head-on highlight the protagonist's resolve. The Sword Emperor's departure and the anticipation of the 11th floor's opening mark a turning point in the narrative. The closing interactions infuse humor and camaraderie, with the characters celebrating their newfound spirit. The protagonist's departure to the 11th floor signifies a continuation of the journey. The debt incurred during the 10th floor holds a promise of future repayment, adding depth to the evolving storyline. The news of the 10th floor's conquest spreads, but the identity of the victorious hunter remains a mystery. Speculations arise as guild masters convene, and discussions about the Sword Saint's denial of involvement circulate. The countdown to the 11th floor's opening adds to the anticipation. The announcement on the 11th floor brings surprise and awe. A holographic figure, resembling an angel or goddess, issues a mission to the climbers. Skepticism arises among the participants as they question the authenticity of the message. The allure and mystery of the tower's design are pondered. The transition to the 11th floor marks a shift in challenges, with a test of faith awaiting the climbers. The significance of self-discovery and the marvels of the tower are contemplated. Amidst discussions, personal backgrounds, and majors in the outside world are revealed, adding depth to the characters. A chance encounter with a fellow climber, possessing the ability to read people, injects intrigue into the narrative. The approaching media attention intensifies as reporters seek answers from Hunter Kim Gongja. Questions about guild affiliations, membership plans, and the protagonist's class status heighten the drama. The protagonist's bold declaration to clear the 20th floor underscores determination and ambition. The news reporter's persistent inquiries and the impending climb to the 11th floor create a dynamic atmosphere. The climactic scene unfolds with the climber's departure and the rallying cry against the Demon King army, leaving the readers in suspense. Amidst the chaos of battle, cries to stand firm and warnings of an impending onslaught echo through the empire. The warriors brace themselves for an intense encounter with the Demon King's forces, emphasizing the critical importance of securing the port. As the climbers transition past the 10th floor unveils a new reality, a holographic message beckons them to assist the Aegean Empire. The urgency of the quest to secure the supply line becomes apparent, prompting the warriors to embark on a mission to protect the empire. In the heart of the battlefield, the climber receives instructions to safeguard the final lifeline of the empire, the port. The quest presents an opportunity to achieve a major accomplishment while fending off relentless attacks. The climber's heightened senses and strategic awareness become crucial in the face of adversity. The climber is tasked with defeating the Demon King's forces and securing the supply line, leading to a flurry of questions and concerns among the warriors. The Sword Saint takes charge, urging the climbers to follow and vanquish the goblin enemies, displaying exceptional combat prowess. A reward is announced, accompanied by a glimpse of special privileges related to luck and skill. The climber gains access to NPC abilities and locations on the 11th to 20th floors. The tower's thematic divisions, particularly the 1-10th floor tutorial and the 11th to 20th floor dedicated to the Demon King, are elucidated. Confronted with the challenge of overcoming the Demon King's forces, the climber contemplates two options: possessing enough personal power or leading an army. Despite lacking experience in army leadership, the climber expresses determination to develop this talent, setting the stage for strategic endeavors. The climber challenges the notion of the tower's luck-based games, utilizing a privilege to reveal the top 100 skilled NPCs on the 11th floor. The Sword Emperor showcases the skill-based nature of the game, emphasizing the importance of wit and strategy. A pivotal encounter unfolds between the climber and Commander Sarbus Agim. The commander reveals a secret ability tied to a blessing upon his death, raising ethical dilemmas. In a selfless act, the climber offers assistance, demonstrating valor and leaving a lasting impression on the empire. As the climber Kim Gongja fulfills the commander's request, a poignant exchange ensues. The climber's sacrifice elicits reflections on the cursed nature of the world, highlighting the complexities faced by those caught in the throes of battle. The climber's identity is revealed, and a saying coined by Gongja Nim lingers in the aftermath. In the realm of battle, my B-rank battlefield perception skill, acquired from NPC Sarbast Agimi, grants me the abilities of a master. I can analyze the battlefield, instinctively recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of the enemy, and pinpointing faults in their defense. The skill I've created through this perception proves its worth as we navigate the path, anticipating an encounter with a commander of the demon army. Monsters lurk nearby, but their numbers are manageable. The call to wipe them out is met with a resounding "Yes, sir," from the warriors of the goddess at my side. Gained through my role as a military strategist, the trust of the general is solidified by the skill. As we press forward, wiping out goblins and following the guidance of the minimap, the day's preparations and tireless repetition prove crucial. Beyond the skill, credit is also due to the warriors of the goddess as we wield the legendary La Fonta Aegean's holy sword of protection. The founder's vow, bestowed by the goddess, echoes as we declare an attack and witness a view worth clearing the hidden stage for. The value of the sword is debated as we discuss its shiny, durable qualities and its role in dazzling NPCs until the 20th floor. A realization emerges that NPCs aren't just quest givers but essential allies in overcoming quests. Jealousy arises among the warriors as they observe the special treatment received by a warrior who seems to be the only one riding with the general. The atmosphere is filled with voices of envy and a desire for recognition. The commander's authority prevails as orders are given to maintain momentum and follow the general. A victorious battle against demons ensues, and the warrior of the goddess emerges triumphant, hailed by the cry, Long live the Empire. Solo hunting is declared as our specialty, and the stage is declared clear. Questions arise about beating the 11th floor in a single day, showcasing the strength of the subjugators and exceeding their limits. The top 10 subjugators are revealed, with Kim Gongolja leading the ranks. Speculations about his identity arise, but the truth reveals him as a cunning, lazy individual. The importance of basic skills over abilities is emphasized. Despite the challenges, the warriors express determination to exceed expectations and promise diligent training before the 20th stage. The camaraderie and understanding between warriors and the Sword Emperor become evident. A moment of revelation occurs as the simple truth is acknowledged. The towers climbed might be different, but the essence remains the same. The warrior of the goddess is recognized for securing victory, and gratitude is extended. Concerns about a prophecy predicting the invasion of the demon army are dispelled, and the warrior's resolve is acknowledged. A handshake signifies a connection transcending different worlds, rooted in shared humanity. Calculations for rewards are made, and the warriors express confidence in their strength. The general bids farewell with a request to take good care of the empire, concluding this chapter of the epic journey. In the midst of strategic planning and confrontation, questions arise about the summoning process. Concerns about the presence of Old Man Marcus and potential betrayal among allies are voiced. The conversation shifts to the royal palace of the Aegim Empire, an unexpected location. Hunter Kim Gongja is praised for his incredible performance on the 11th floor, utilizing abilities to appear younger. The mention of a strange sword prompts speculation about it being a reward from the 10th floor. Plans to assassinate someone, identified as Hunter Kim Gongja, are unveiled. The Sword Saint transitions into an assassin, determined to kill the mentioned individual. A discussion ensues about the significance of the holy technique and the godly transmission. Viper, the Chun Mu Master, and the Countess engage in banter, revealing the complexities of their relationships. The battle unfolds, and financial negotiations take an unexpected turn, involving a request for 10,000 gold. The Countess uses her holy technique, devotion, to strengthen allies, setting the stage for an intense confrontation. The Chun Mu Master receives gold, leading to an intriguing dynamic among the characters. Amidst the chaos, alliances and agreements are disclosed, indicating that Hunter Kim Gongja has joined all 5 great guilds. The Sword Saint is warned against drawing his sword against Kim Gongja, as it would mean opposing all of them. The unfolding plan involves facing Kim Gongja with the strength of an alliance, emphasizing the power of unity. A private conversation ensues between the Sword Saint and an undisclosed individual, expressing surprise and a desire for understanding. The Sword Saint acknowledges the complexity of the situation and the uncertainty surrounding the intentions of the mysterious figure. The narrative concludes with a strategic revelation, emphasizing the 2 ways to face a strong opponent, either gaining enough strength to crush an army alone or gathering an army to fight for you. The Sword Saint is faced with a choice, and the mysterious figure seeks a private conversation to elaborate on their perspective. The intricacies of alliances, personal histories, and strategic maneuvering weave together in this complex and evolving tale. In the ongoing confrontation within the tower, emotions run high as accusations and explanations unfold. The speaker defends their stance against joining a particular group, emphasizing the differences between them and the outer Amp Babylon. They express their frustration at being consistently targeted for recruitment, suggesting that the relentless offers stem from a desire to showcase their individual strength. The discussion shifts to the nature of the tower, highlighting its unique opportunities for success, regardless of background or origin. The speaker emphasizes the tower's potential for individuals to rise to the top based on talent and effort, contrasting it with the discrimination prevalent in the outer. As tensions escalate, accusations and counter-accusations are exchanged, revealing underlying conflicts and grievances. The speaker challenges their counterparts to prove themselves as true warriors and suggests focusing on the challenges presented by the 12th floor. Amidst the chaos, a call for unity emerges, urging the hunters to set a better example and work together. The plight of NPCs on the 11th floor fighting for their lives is mentioned, adding a layer of urgency to the situation. A mysterious figure with a unique skill that detects lies steps forward, offering to validate the truth of the statements made by others. A series of questions and responses follow, leading to a revelation that the accusations against a particular individual were false. The narrative concludes with an acknowledgement of the misunderstanding, a call for cooperation, and a suggestion to focus on the challenges ahead. The scene reflects the complexities and conflicts within the group, showcasing the diverse motivations and perspectives of the characters in their shared journey through the tower. At this point, a sense of anticipation lingers in the air. There's a belief that an apology is owed, a sentiment expressed by someone known as Brave Saint. As the opening credits and episode information roll out, the stage is set for the unfolding drama. A statement is made, the perfect truth, a reasonable argument presented. The call for an apology persists, directed towards the figure of the saint. The narrative shifts, revealing the true identity of Confucius Kim, a hunter, and the paladin of the five elements, contradicting the initial perception of an elite assassin steeped in filth. Amidst the conversation, a humorous interjection about the potential romantic interest of Confucius Kim in someone's granddaughter injects a moment of levity. Returning to the serious tone, the discussion delves into the concept of a villain, self-assured and dismissive of others' opinions. The protagonist reflects on the self-serving nature of individuals focused solely on securing their gains. The surprise of encountering someone like Hunter Kim, who sincerely seeks forgiveness and extends forgiveness in return, is acknowledged as a rare and beautiful sight, a true miracle in the ceaseless human struggle. An authoritative figure admonishes the nosiness in the room, emphasizing the need to proceed with the narrative. The story takes a reflective turn, pondering the value of a misunderstood 10,000 cold cash and the seemingly nonchalant expression of true feelings by Confucius Kim. The scene transitions to the welcome extended to Hunter Confucius Kim, recognized as the No. 1 hunter to clear the 11th floor, setting the stage for rewards and challenges ahead. As the narrative unfolds further, the focus shifts to the roles and positions hunters are to assume within the Ajim Empire, complete with inheritances and special privileges for top warriors. The available special positions on the 12th floor are unveiled, including Ajim Empire's General-in-Chief, Saint, and Silhouette User. Questions arise about the significance and implications of these roles, probing the king's thoughts on their responsibilities. The Demon King of Autumn Rain makes a dramatic entrance, seeking cooperation from the top hunters, promising a special gift beyond the goddess's rewards. The catch: kill the top 10 warriors, excluding oneself, and ascend directly to the 99th floor. A warning introduces an element of competition among the top 10, as only one person can claim the Demon King's reward. The narrative grapples with the sudden proposition of killing fellow hunters to advance to the next floor. As the episode concludes, closing credits roll alongside the looming decision of reward selection, leaving the audience in suspense about the unfolding developments in this intricate tale. At this juncture, it appears to be a point of no return, zombie. The gravity of the situation is undeniable, and it has to be acknowledged. The circumstances are so blatant, leaving no room for denial or escape. There's no way that Flame Emperor Bastard chose the rewards. That bastard definitely chose the Demon King's reward, and the narrator expresses certainty in this belief. However, a curious twist emerges. Despite being associated with the 40th floor, not the 99th, the Demon King's reward is perceived as a trap. The speculation unfolds, suggesting that Bastard might have initially aligned with the demon, only to strategically revive himself upon realizing the trap's nature. The temptation of such a ploy is acknowledged. Amidst the uncertainty, a bold proposition is considered. What if the narrator were to venture to the 99th floor, witness the chaos, and then revive themselves? This hypothetical scenario is addressed to Confucius, assuming the identity of the Sword Emperor. The admission of failure in clearing the 99th floor is candid, emphasizing the trap's revolting nature. Concerns about the ability to defeat the top 10 hunters and the absence of a boss on the 99th floor are voiced. The mysterious nature of the 99th floor adds an air of suspense to the narrative. The narrator reflects on their own image and actions, acknowledging the impact on others. A reluctant acknowledgement of admiration for the actions of another individual is woven into the narrative, suggesting that maintaining this image is crucial for future success. A decision is made to take a step back for the current round, opting for a safer route and forfeiting the rewards. The intention is to observe the unfolding events. Despite skepticism and questions from others, the narrator remains resolute in their decision, emphasizing the need to sacrifice now for future gains. As the rewards for clearing the 11th floor are revealed, a sense of relief and anticipation permeates the narrative. The impatience for the quest is palpable. The dynamics of reward distribution and the subsequent choices of the characters add complexity to the unfolding story. The narrator, Confucius, chooses not to receive a reward for this stage, prompting inquiries from others. The goddess of protection questions and the demon king of autumn rain quietly laughs, introducing an element of mysterious amusement. The second-place position grants Confucius the opportunity to choose, revealing the internal conflict and deliberation in this decision. Despite concerns and regrets expressed by others, the narrator remains steadfast in their choice. The caution of being overly careful is acknowledged, reflecting on the delicate balance between prudence and missed opportunities. Amidst the unfolding drama, the trader's advantage is highlighted as they choose the Demon King's reward. The narrator reacts with frustration at what appears to be a foolish decision, drawing parallels to the challenges faced when they initially began climbing the tower. The reminiscence shifts to a dark period, when betrayal and death defined their journey. Paladin is urged to use their detector skill, emphasizing the urgency of the situation. The narrator reflects on the precariousness of the moment, acknowledging the potential casualties and the need for luck. The narrative closes with the command not to leave a single person out, setting the stage for the impending investigation and the uncertainties that lie ahead. In the tense atmosphere of the Black Citadel, the Black Pecross Lever, the enigmatic figure, asserts her position. She vows to punish the traitor among them with the most painful death, emphasizing her commitment to the cause. Palapin, using her lie detector skill, is tasked with investigating everyone to uncover the traitor, and any defiance will be met with instant death. Amid the accusations, the Black Pecross Lever clarifies that she is not the hunter Coac Octus and is excluded from the list of suspects. However, she raises the question of who among them has chosen the Demon King's reward. The tension escalates as the accused hunters deny their involvement, each vehemently asserting their innocence. As accusations fly, the truth becomes elusive. The Black Pecross Lever raises the possibility of a traitor possessing a skill to hide their lies, or even having a split personality. The suspicion intensifies as they contemplate the complexity of the situation and the potential motives behind the betrayal. Amidst the chaos, the discussion shifts to the difficulty of trusting each other in the face of the looming threat. The Black Pecross Lever expresses disappointment in the goddess of protection and suggests that the traitor might have ulterior motives beyond personal gain. The discussion turns philosophical as they ponder the nature of trust and the challenges of building it in a short time. The Black Pecross Lever questions the efficiency of investing another 10 years to establish trust among the hunters. As tensions rise, the group contemplates the potential fallout and the difficulty of maintaining cooperation. As the Black Pecross Lever grapples with the implications of the situation, she calls for a decisive action. The focus shifts to practicality, and they decide to proceed with the mission despite the internal strife. The trust among the hunters hangs by a thread as they confront the possibility of betrayal. In a surprising turn, the Black Pecross Lever relinquishes her authority to Hunter Kim, suggesting that trusting someone not on the list of suspects might be more efficient. The group contemplates the consequences and responsibilities that come with such authority. The episode takes a moment to delve into the backstory of Inquisitor, shedding light on his role in promoting religious harmony and maintaining peace. The characters reflect on the past, unraveling the complexities that led them to the current predicament. As the tension mounts, the characters acknowledge the seriousness of the situation. The Black Pecross Lever seeks forgiveness for her poor judgment, and the characters discuss the potential consequences of the traitor's actions. The narrative turns to the aftermath of the revelation. The group contemplates the innocent ones caught in the crossfire and the potential for irreparable damage to their bonds. The characters wrestle with the reality that the trust they built over the years is on the verge of crumbling. The story concludes with a plea for unity and calmness in navigating the challenging situation. The characters face the daunting task of confronting the Demon King's core, emphasizing the need to overcome internal strife to stand a chance against the looming threat. The situation at hand has escalated to a critical point, and a foreboding announcement resonates through the air. It will now be given. Yet, a shadow falls as the rain of nightmares descends once more, adding an ominous undertone to the unfolding events. The presence of the Demon King is revealed, leaving all those present in a state of bewilderment. The characters find themselves grappling with confusion and concern, questioning the abrupt changes in their environment. With the disappearance of the quest, the Demon King of Autumn Rain makes a grand entrance, shifting the narrative to the perspective of this formidable entity. Addressing warriors from another world, expected to be protectors, the Demon King challenges the assumption that placing them in positions would ensure loyalty. It dismisses them as mere humans, criticizing those who failed to grasp the gravity of their mistake, providing details on the difficulty level and the impending challenge. The weakened state of the Demon King is explained, emphasizing the imminent threat to Hakamnia, the capital. A warning is issued that losing the battle will have consequences, preventing access to the 13th floor. The characters express disbelief at the unfolding events, shedding light on their perceived unfairness and raising questions about the true motives behind the quest. Even if the initial floors were considered a tutorial, the sudden spike in difficulty proves daunting. Amidst the chaos, a plea for calm is made, underscoring the need to maintain focus and composure. The tower is believed to provide quests that can be cleared, prompting a reminder that the participants are no longer merely hunters. The responsibilities of the Aegean Empire's captain of the guard are emphasized, urging the characters to take charge and lead the royal guards. Realizing the impossibility of clearing the stage alone, the characters resolve to persuade the NPCs to join their cause. The significance of treating the NPCs as genuine individuals and uplifting their spirits becomes apparent. Unity becomes a central theme as the characters commit to ending internal conflicts. Leadership roles are assigned, with Saint chosen as the Knight Commander. The call to convince the NPCs and treat them with respect emphasizes the necessity of a collective effort. The importance of leadership in facing external threats is underscored, emphasizing the responsibilities assigned to each character. The narrative transitions to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, tasked with a specific mission involving the location of the Emperor and control of the NPCs. The scene shifts to the Prime Minister, who pledges to protect the main hall with her life. The characters are urged to follow the commander's orders, heightening the urgency as they prepare for the impending battle. A new character, the Black Pacross Lever, makes a mysterious entrance, offering assistance and introducing herself. A discussion unfolds regarding the potential benefits of her unique skills, particularly teleportation. The Prime Minister consents to the use of her skill, recognizing the necessity of unconventional measures in times of crisis. The narrative broadens as the characters plead for mercy on the NPCs, acknowledging the illusion of these digital entities, experiencing real emotions. Gratitude is expressed for the assistance provided. As the characters prepare for teleportation, the Black Pacross Lever seeks verbal consent, unveiling the requirements for her skill. A brief exchange underscores the significance of the Prime Minister's role and the urgency to save the country. The story unfolds with a plea to the Empire's walls to protect its people. A rallying cry encourages the soldiers to rise up and defend their homes. The goddess of protection expresses her power through actions, introducing a supernatural element to the unfolding events. In the realm of the fallen, the haunting words echo. The trauma experienced by the enemy who killed you will be reenacted. The mystery of its origin, purpose, and timing remains unknown to all. A low-level penalty descends upon the fallen, consigning them to the Hell Realm. Whenever it appears, the crimson rain follows, bringing with it an ominous atmosphere. Beneath the torrential downfall, the Demon King scoffs at the pathetic fools. Blood soon taints the land where the rain touches, flowing as a testament to the inevitable demise of the human territories. With each fallen country, the human race diminishes, and history, written by weary quills, grows shorter. The once vast lineage of royalty diminishes, signaling the impending extinction of humanity. In the face of this calamity, the Demon King questions the comfort derived from attributing these events to fate. To it, this is the karma of wild beasts, a relentless downpour signaling the end. The historians, with worn-out quills, quietly accepted their fate, recording the sentence that sealed the fate of the human race. The Demon King, the creator of this nightmare, observes the unfolding tragedy with disdain for those who failed to see the impending doom. The final remaining historians undertake the arduous task of documenting the downfall of the human race at the hands of the Demon King. As the reign persists, the narrative shifts to the Demon King's S-class hunter, a formidable force in this nightmarish landscape. The reign, seemingly unstoppable, serves as a chilling reminder of the impending doom that looms over the fallen world. The story transitions to the mortal realm, introducing the Aeceam Empire and the individuals caught in this torrent of chaos. The people rally together, finding strength in the small things that matter, even in the face of impending doom. In the heart of the empire, the Prime Minister addresses the gathered officials, urging them to remain resolute and defend their home. The introduction of a mysterious figure, the Black Pekros Lever, adds an air of uncertainty to the unfolding events. As they prepare for the battle, a plan is set in motion to face the Demon King. The narrative shifts to a practical approach, discussing the strategy to confront the Demon King. The use of the Black Pekros Lever's S-class skill, teleportation, becomes a focal point. The urgency to protect the castle walls and coordinate efforts with other hunters is emphasized. As the characters prepare for battle, the Prime Minister delivers a motivational speech, encouraging them to become the heroes the people need. The importance of being a beacon of hope in times of crisis is highlighted. The story takes a moment to impart a lesson on swordsmanship, setting the stage for the challenges that lie ahead. The characters gear up for the impending confrontation, realizing that the time has come to face the Demon King and protect their world. The narrative unfolds within the context of a fierce battle. The protagonist, Confucius Kim, is given directives to deal with the enemies on the left side and synchronize his movements with the symphony of attacks. The story introduces the concept of connecting strikes, emphasizing the importance of precision and timing in wielding a sword. Confucius Kim is instructed to connect his strikes smoothly, much like playing a musical piece where every strike contributes to the overall harmony. The narrative provides insights into the intricacies of swordsmanship, urging the character to maximize every second and live his life devoted to the art of the sword. As Confucius Kim progresses, he faces challenges and encounters other skilled swordsmen. The narrative introduces the concept of a special skill known as gastagar, and Confucius Kim reflects on his ability to confront individuals who possess such unique skills. The story delves into the backstory of various characters, revealing their names and affiliations. There's a sense of camaraderie among the hunters as they rank up, and Confucius Kim is promoted to a D-class hunter. The characters express mutual respect and acknowledgement for each other's skills and achievements. The episode also introduces Marcus Kaksuha and Liao as prominent characters, each with their own unique abilities and backgrounds. The characters share brief interactions, showcasing their personalities and roles within the narrative. The narrative shifts to a larger-scale battle involving prominent figures such as the Blade Saint, the Empire's Knight Commander, and the General-in-Chief. The characters showcase their skills and discuss the current state of the battle, providing glimpses into the complexity of the conflict. As the story unfolds, the protagonist, Confucius Kim, faces a pivotal moment where his existence as a hunter is revealed, and he ranks up to a D-class hunter. The characters congratulate him, and the narrative builds anticipation for his future endeavors. In the midst of the battle, the protagonist confronts the Demon King of Autumn Rain and engages in a fierce exchange. The narrative introduces new characters and hints at a traitor among them. The story leaves readers on the edge of their seats as Confucius Kim faces formidable challenges and uncovers the mysteries surrounding the unfolding events. The narrative takes an intense turn as the characters discuss various skills obtained from the Demon King of Autumn Rain. A mysterious and potent skill named Resentment Pours Like Rain is introduced, featuring a high rank of S. The skill taps into the power of emotions, reflecting the amount of innocent blood spilled in the world. The narrative delves into the philosophical idea that some things exist, whether seen or not, and the consequences of ignorance. The characters plan their approach for clearing the 11th floor, revealing that the next 10 floors are associated with an empire called the Igam Empire. A quest floor on the 12th level is hinted at, raising anticipation about the challenges that lie ahead. Confucius Kim shares valuable information about the upcoming floors with his guild members, emphasizing the importance of preparation. The episode explores the dynamics between the characters as they discuss their strategies and concerns. A new character, Miss Palapin, is introduced, described as the co-guild leader of the city security. She is invited to a shop run by the nameless alchemist, setting the stage for potential collaborations. The narrative highlights the complexities of alliances and the characters' willingness to trust each other despite the uncertainties. The episode concludes with Miss Palapin expressing her gratitude and offering to buy samples from the shop to test the quality of potions. The potential for an exclusive contract with the city security is suggested, introducing a new layer of intrigue and opportunity for the protagonists. As the characters navigate the challenges of the virtual world, they face not only the physical obstacles of the game, but also the intricacies of interpersonal relationships and strategic alliances. The story takes a dramatic turn as Saint confronts the mysterious figure known as the Prophet. The Prophet claims to have a skill that allows them to predict the future and reveals that Saint's ability, the detective's insight skill, is well known to them. A tense conversation unfolds as the Prophet tries to convince Saint to spare their life, stating that killing them would result in significant casualties on the 12th floor. The Prophet proposes a unique solution: allow them to live for the next 5 days, during which Saint can observe their actions and determine if they truly deserve to die. Saint remains skeptical and challenges the Prophet to provide information that would reassure his past self about the Prophet's authenticity. The Prophet cryptically mentions the alias Swamp Emperor, suggesting that this name will hold significance in the future. Saint reluctantly agrees to the Prophet's terms, deciding to observe their actions closely over the next 5 days. The episode ends with a mysterious message about finding one's true self and understanding a higher purpose, leaving readers intrigued and eager to discover the unfolding events. The narrative explores themes of trust, morality, and the consequences of one's actions in the virtual world. The dynamic between Saint and the Prophet adds complexity to the storyline, raising questions about the nature of their characters and the true purpose behind their roles in the tower. As the climbers face challenges and uncertainties, the episode sets the stage for further revelations and confrontations in the ongoing virtual adventure. In the chaotic scene, amidst the battle cries and commands, the situation becomes dire as the Demon King threatens the Aegean Empire. The quest to secure the supply route is revealed, with a warning that failure would result in the closure of the 12th floor port. Amidst the intense battle, Zack takes charge of the situation, and the Heavenly Security and Pantheon teams are assigned their respective tasks. The narrative shifts to the protagonist, who expresses frustration at the unfolding events and the challenges posed by the monsters. As the battle unfolds, the climbers and their teams engage in combat, with Zack leading the charge. Confucius, a new character, reveals a unique skill that allows them to see the locations of allies and enemies on the battlefield. The protagonist questions Confucius's decision not to take monsters with them, and the conversation reveals the protagonist's skepticism. The narrative then shifts to the ongoing battle, where the climbers and various teams strategize and confront the monsters. The protagonist reflects on the reduced casualties and the significance of the current situation in the tower. Confucius expresses admiration for the protagonist's ability to inspire and acknowledge the efforts of others. The protagonist shares their desire for change, emphasizing the importance of recognizing and appreciating the hardworking people in the tower. The narrative concludes with the protagonist addressing the climbers, urging them to team up with the Black Raccoon leader and revealing their plan for the next 5 days. Intriguingly, the protagonist hints at a favor they will ask in the future, creating anticipation and setting the stage for the challenges and revelations that lie ahead in the tower. The episode is marked by intense action, strategic discussions, and the protagonist's contemplation on the larger purpose and impact of their actions in the virtual world. Warriors and climbers of the tower, the call to action echoes as the order is given to open the floors from 11th to 20th. The looming challenge, a test of faith, awaits all who dare to ascend. Amidst the unfolding events, a question is posed about remembering what was said the previous day. Trust is placed in the hope that answers will be found. A peculiar request is made, asking for a favor in the future. The cryptic nature of the task is revealed as a promise to stay silent for the next 5 days. Confusion and skepticism arise among the participants. The protagonists share their intention to clear up to the 20th floor within this time frame. However, a unique challenge emerges, freezing all non-player characters until the quest officially begins. The quest involves taking on roles traditionally held by NPCs on the 12th to 20th floors. It is highlighted that a delay in receiving the quest is unusual. Amidst discussions about rewards and decisions, a character named Hunter Kim steps forward, offering valuable information on how to clear the 11th floor. In exchange, the request is made for everyone to stay in place for the next 5 days. Some express reservations, but a promise is a promise, and the characters agree to the terms. As the narrative progresses, the Demon King of Autumn Rain proposes drastic measures, suggesting the preemptive killing of the quest's monster. This controversial idea sparks outrage and condemnation from others. The tension rises as the Demon King manifests and confrontations intensify. The protagonist defends their preference for happy outcomes and discourages sacrificing lives unnecessarily. The Demon King challenges the protagonist, claiming they cannot stop the impending action alone. A frozen atmosphere envelops the scene as the protagonists and the Demon King prepare for the imminent clash. The episode is filled with intrigue, challenges, and moral dilemmas, setting the stage for the unfolding drama within the tower. The characters grapple with choices that may impact the course of the quest and the fate of the Empire. In a tumultuous sequence of events, the protagonist faces repeated deaths, encounters formidable challenges, and engages in battles within the tower. The narrative explores the complexities of combat, introducing a zombie adversary with considerable force. The protagonist contemplates the difficulty of predicting the zombie's swings and reflects on the Korean tally mark system. The story delves into the consequences of death within the tower, revealing a revival mechanism that transports the character 24 hours back in time. The protagonist grapples with the learning curve of mastering aura usage and the importance of balance throughout their journey. Darker moments arise when the Demon King confronts the warrior of the goddess, questioning their failure to take proper steps. The story emphasizes the significance of inherited titles from the Empire, leading to intense battles and moments of defeat. As the narrative unfolds, casualties are counted, and characters express a mix of astonishment, frustration, and determination. The protagonist's interactions with other characters, including Confucius and fellow hunters, add layers to the unfolding drama. The episode concludes with a character contemplating the consequences of getting involved in a game, and tensions escalate as characters prepare for battles. The story hints at the challenges that lie ahead and sets the stage for the next unfolding chapter within the tower. In the midst of an intense encounter, the protagonist Esther finds herself in a precarious situation while her father expresses concern about her safety. The narrative unfolds with a mysterious creature hunting prey, and Esther's cry for help adds an element of urgency to the unfolding events. The father scolds Esther for venturing outside and remarks on her fragile nature. Esther, however, reveals a newfound strength and health, hinting at an encounter that transformed her. The story shifts to a conversation between characters discussing the protagonist's choice of a skill known as ghost summons. The characters muse about the potential of other skills and the implications of the protagonist's kill count, which seems to surpass initial expectations. The protagonist contemplates the intricacies of their summoning ability and poses a question about personal responsibility for deaths. The narrative takes an unexpected turn as the protagonist reveals a skill that allows the summoning of thousands of monsters, leading to astonishment from other characters. The protagonist's ability to single-handedly clear a challenging floor becomes a focal point, and characters express a mix of awe and skepticism. Amidst the discussions, a call for cooperation arises as the protagonist and a skeleton army face a formidable foe. Tensions escalate as characters prepare for battle, and a confrontation with a powerful adversary unfolds. The protagonist challenges the opponent's perspective and qualifications, setting the stage for a dramatic clash between the forces of good and evil within the unfolding narrative. The story unfolds with a scene depicting the admiration and longing of the people for Miss Esther, referred to as the Saint of the Gorge Lands. The rumors surrounding her healing abilities and the plea for her blessing on a sick child add an aura of mystique to her character. The narrative then shifts to a conversation between characters discussing Esther's origins and her connection to a miracle. Esther's healing powers become apparent as she attends to a sick child, showcasing her benevolent nature. The story delves into the fragrance of humans and the significance of love, emphasizing Esther's ability to alleviate pain and suffering. The dialogue between characters sheds light on the impact of Esther's actions, portraying her as a compassionate figure in the narrative. As the story progresses, Esther's encounters with various characters reveal her role as a healer and a source of miracles. The narrative introduces the time traveler's clock, linking it to the protagonist's skill and the unique way it affects memories and abilities. The protagonist faces challenges and deaths, leading to a recurring theme of revival and a countdown until the next use of the 100 Ghost summons. The story delves into the intricacies of the protagonist's abilities and their impact on time and memory. Characters express awe and skepticism, leading to conversations about the potential of the summoning skill. The narrative introduces conflicts and confrontations, with the protagonist facing adversaries and making decisions that impact the unfolding events. The protagonist's journey continues with battles, revelations about the summoning skill, and discussions about its implications. The narrative explores the protagonist's relationships with other characters, emphasizing cooperation and the challenges they face. As the story progresses, elements of mystery, magic, and conflict converge, creating a compelling and intricate storyline, with an unexpected alteration in history catching the characters off guard. Confusion and speculation arise among them as they try to comprehend the changes that have occurred. The setting shifts to a different time, with the characters noticing transformations in the environment, particularly the castle walls. The characters discuss the unusual modifications in history and ponder the significance of the altered timeline. As they navigate the transformed landscape, observations about the state of the empire and its rulers are shared. The dialogue highlights the uncertainty and intrigue surrounding the mysterious changes. Amidst the unfolding events, characters express their discontent with the bureaucracy and the deteriorating conditions in the empire. The narrative introduces a mysterious figure named H, who appears to have a significant connection to the altered history and seeks to confront the empire. The story delves into the protagonist's history and past struggles, revealing a journey of self-discovery and redemption. The protagonist reflects on a life filled with pain, sacrifices, and a desire for a fresh start. Themes of regret, self-acceptance, and personal growth are explored through the protagonist's internal dialogue. The protagonist addresses the citizens of the empire, proclaiming their departure and renunciation of their role as a member of the empire. The narrative portrays a sense of liberation and defiance as the protagonist announces their independence from the empire's troubles and burdens. A dialogue ensues between the protagonist and an unidentified figure, marked by a mix of sarcasm and dark humor. The protagonist challenges the empire and its problems while embracing their newfound identity. The narrative builds tension and anticipation as the protagonist declares their departure from the empire and takes a defiant stance. Themes of self-discovery, rebellion, and personal transformation are prevalent in the narrative. The characters grapple with the consequences of the altered history and the protagonist's newfound resolve. The dialogue adds an element of mystery as the protagonist refers to their past actions and decisions. The narrative hints at a complex web of relationships, motivations, and personal struggles. As the story unfolds, the story intensifies as the characters confront a powerful adversary, the Demon King of Autumn Rain, who expresses outrage and resentment. The Demon King accuses the protagonists of taking away their children and challenges them with curses and a deep-seated anger. Despite the Demon King's menacing presence, some characters question the authenticity of their strength, noting a perceived weakness compared to previous encounters. Discussions among the characters involve speculations about the effects of a witch's aura and the potential leveling down of monsters. The narrative takes a turn as the Demon King's existence becomes obscured, and the characters face a mysterious and powerful foe. The mention of a map and the unlocking of access to different floors adds an element of intrigue to the unfolding events. The characters reflect on the alterations in history, with the eradication of the Demon King's invasion and the disappearance of refugee camps. There's a realization that the timeline has been significantly changed, raising questions about the nature of the alterations and their consequences. The protagonist, identified as a prophet, plays a crucial role in guiding the others and providing insights into the unfolding events. The story explores themes of prophecy, destiny, and the impact of individual choices on the course of history. The narrative shifts to a scene involving zombies and a giant zombie, referred to as a zombie giant or zombie cyclops. The characters engage in a strategic discussion about how to handle the situation, with a focus on targeting the giant's eye for maximum impact. The characters make bets, discuss strategies, and plan their approach to the zombie giant. There's a mix of humor and tension as they prepare for the encounter, with the protagonist asserting their role as a prophet and guiding the others. The story takes an unexpected twist as the Demon King of Autumn Rain retreats to higher floors, and the characters experience the consequences of their actions. The protagonist's abilities as a prophet are acknowledged, adding a layer of mystery and significance to their role. The narrative concludes with a confrontation between the protagonist and the Demon King of Autumn Rain, revealing a personal connection between them. The Demon King's final moments hint at a complex history and a potential link to the protagonist's past. As the Demon King's existence becomes obscured, and the story delves into themes of revenge, regret, and destiny. The story takes a dramatic turn as the protagonist faces a penalty for using their skill, resulting in a reenactment of the trauma experienced by the enemy who killed them. The penalty is deemed as medium level, and the protagonist is sent to the Hungry Ghost realm. In the Hungry Ghost realm, the Demon King of Autumn Rain's trauma is reenacted, urging the protagonist to take revenge on the witch's supporters. The Demon King expresses their rage and sorrow, questioning the humanity of those who labeled their children as monsters. The narrative shifts to a ceremony where various characters, including the Demon King, lament the loss of life and question the actions of humanity. The protagonist, referred to as Miss Sane, is recognized for their positive influence on the community, particularly in agriculture. The Demon King expresses frustration at being created by humanity's malice and laments the loss of their children. There's a sense of despair as the Demon King's existence becomes obscured, and they contemplate the shrinking of their power. The story then transitions to the protagonist and their party planning to confront the Demon King on the 20th floor. The Demon King, acknowledging their fate, proposes a one-on-one confrontation between them and the protagonist. The protagonist, equipped with Black Raken's Leaper, prepares to face the Demon King on the 20th floor. There's a discussion about the altered history and the need for the protagonist to confront the Demon King alone. The party agrees to respect the protagonist's wishes and await their return. The narrative ends with the protagonist entering the boss stage to face the Demon King of Autumn Rain on the 20th floor. The tower acknowledges their achievements, and the protagonist is granted the restricted powers of an apostle. The protagonist has the right to modify any skill in their possession that is not allowed. As the protagonist prepares to confront the Demon King, the story raises questions about guilt, the nature of existence, and the consequences of their journey. The protagonist faces the Demon King of Autumn Rain in the boss stage. The Demon King expresses their resentment and the lingering burns from a past encounter, questioning if the protagonist intended to repeat the destruction of their paradise. The Demon King taunts the protagonist, highlighting the reversal of their positions from a previous encounter on the 12th floor. The Demon King challenges the protagonist's authority, claiming they are not weak enough. The protagonist, equipped with Black Raken's Leaper, manages to obscure the Demon King's existence, but the Demon King remains defiant, stating they are not weak enough yet. The protagonist initiates a level adjustment, revoking the Demon King's authority and weakening them further. As the Demon King screams in protest, the protagonist asserts their intention to continue approaching the Demon King, defying their authority. The Demon King accuses the protagonist's people of committing atrocities against them and questions the protagonist's actions. The protagonist reflects on the Demon King's accusations, and the narrative delves into a discussion about responsibility, mistakes, and the consequences of the protagonist's past actions. The Demon King challenges the protagonist to experience the same suffering before passing judgment. In a surprising twist, the protagonist makes a request to the tower to modify the skill Hungry Ghost Summon to allow the summoned beings to recall memories from their lifetime. The tower accepts the request, and the protagonist outlines their intention to make the summoned entities remember their lives. There's a discussion about combat stances and the importance of mastering the basics. The narrative introduces the concept of NPCs, non-playable characters, and raises questions about their qualification as targets for the protagonists. Skill. A dialogue between the protagonist and the tower ensues, where the protagonist seeks clarification on whether killing an NPC would count as a target for their skill. The tower's response is temporarily inconclusive, leading to further confusion. The narrative ends with the protagonist expressing frustration and confusion about the tower's response, leaving a sense of uncertainty and anticipation for what comes next. In the ominous darkness, the King of Death found himself summoned to an unknown place. Confusion lingered as he awaited answers. The disembodied voice of the system demanded his choice of skill card, adding to his bewilderment. His pleas for explanation echoed through the void, met only with silence. Suddenly, a roll call commenced, summoning the 6 enigmatic pillars of the world. Their voices, strange and unfamiliar, filled the air with a language beyond the King of Death's comprehension. He realized these beings were not from the Tower of Babylon, perhaps even its creators. Intrigued and wary, the King of Death inquired about his role as a temporary apostle. He presented his query regarding the skill ghoul reincarnation, specifically its applicability to NPCs. The pillars engaged in a heated debate, their voices incomprehensible to him. The vote was split, 2 for, 2 against, and 1 abstaining. The fate rested on the master of the tower, the ancient being who witnessed the creation of all. The King of Death, with his heart on his sleeve, voiced his concerns and intentions, assuring his unwavering kindness and purpose. The master, touched by the King of Death's sincerity, cast a decisive positive vote. He returned to the tower, shaken by the fleeting encounter with the pillars and the weight of their decision. Back in the familiar surroundings of the tower, the Sword Emperor confronted a dazed King of Death. Confused by the sudden change, the King of Death inquired about the pillars and their purpose. He learned that even the legendary Sword Emperor had never encountered them. Driven by a sense of justice, the King of Death prepared to deliver the final blow to the captured Demon King. The Sword Emperor, however, protested, urging him to consult the tower first. The King of Death, having already received their approval, swung his blade. Yet, instead of ending her life, he used the skill ghoul revive, transforming the Demon King into a new being named Preta. He commanded her to serve him, and she obeyed without hesitation. Confused and intrigued, the Sword Emperor witnessed the unexpected turn of events. The King of Death, enigmatic as ever, promised to reveal all in due time. As the system searched for the vanished Demon King, the world adjusted to her absence, creating a new timeline. Preta, fearing for the village she once protected, pleaded with the King of Death for its salvation. Their conversation was abruptly interrupted by the arrival of the Knights of the Argyrim Empire, setting the stage for a new chapter in their adventure. Preta bowed before the King of Death, her voice devoid of rancor or vengeance. "My life and my actions are yours to command, Your Majesty. Only the safety of my paradise matters." The King of Death, touched by her unwavering loyalty, assured her, "Your paradise shall be safe. To protect my vassal is my duty." Suddenly, a booming voice shattered the tranquility. General Sarbast Agim, clad in gleaming armor, emerged at the head of an imposing army. His eyes, narrowed in suspicion, landed upon the King of Death. "Who dares block the path of the Argyrim Empire?" The King of Death, unfazed by the general's imposing presence, calmly retorted, "And what brings you, gentlemen, to this humble corner of the world?" "By the will of the Emperor." General Agim thundered, "A dangerous witch lurks here, threatening the peace. Prepare to face the sacred flames of purification. The Pope himself has decreed the punishment of all heretical saints." A hush fell over the crowd. Paladins from the 13th floor, armed with righteous fury, stood shoulder to shoulder with the forest elves of the 14th and the powerful mages of the 15th. The entire world seemed united against this one, unsuspecting village. Yet, unknown to them all, the true hero stood among them. The system, in its cryptic way, reminded the King of Death, "You have altered the future. Your deeds, your sacrifices, will forever be veiled from their eyes. But remember, justice is still justice, and devotion remains devotion. Will you continue to be a hero, even if your name remains unheralded? The King of Death, his gaze meeting the general's, let loose a sardonic chuckle. You speak of justice, he scoffed, yet forget the humble beginnings of your own general. A mere fisherman, elevated by the whim of the emperor. True justice lies not in pronouncements, but in the heart. As he spoke, the King of Death drew forth his shimmering sword, its blade radiating a light that rivaled the sun. The crowd gasped in awe. A bystander, eyes wide with recognition, exclaimed, "Behold, the emissary of the founder Lefanta Agim stands before us." General Agim, his face pale with realization, fell to his knees in supplication. "Forgive me, your majesty. I was blind to your true nature." Standing beside the King of Death, the Sword Emperor chuckled, not only a hero, but a master bull crap as well. "Remember, young one, it's not just about swinging your sword. True heroism requires trust, confidence, and the ability to fool yourself before you can fool your enemies." The crowd, abuzz with curiosity, awaited the emissary's next move. The general, still kneeling, stammered, "Your Majesty, we were sent to subdue the witch." The King of Death, with a triumphant flourish, pointed towards Preda. "The witch has been dealt with," he declared. A collective gasp arose. Recognizing Preda, the crowd roared in fury, "Burn the witch! Kill her at once!" The King of Death, his voice ringing with authority, silenced the mob. He commanded Preda to kneel before the people, perform a series of humiliating exercises, demonstrating her complete subservience. He declared, "The witch is no longer a threat. Her power is mine to control." But the knights remained unconvinced. A cunning lizard mage stepped forward, proposing a test of truth. "Let the soul orb reveal the true colors of their souls. A single drop of blood will expose the darkness of evil or the purity of good. Let the truth be known." The lizard mage, with a flourish that would make a game show host blush, whipped out the soul orb, claiming it held the power to reveal the hidden depths of one's soul. The crowd, breathless with anticipation, held their breath as she pricked Preda's arm, drawing a single scarlet drop that gleamed like a misplaced ruby. As the blood kissed the orb, a darkness bloomed, swallowing the previously neutral surface whole. The lizard mage gasped, her face draining of color as though someone had sucked the life out of it. This cannot be. A soul so black, so filled with evil, it's beyond comprehension," she shrieked, her voice cracking like a poorly tuned violin. With a flourish worthy of a Shakespearean villain, she declared Preda a true demon king, a walking apocalypse responsible for the wholesale slaughter of countless souls, a being so evil she should be banished to the deepest, darkest corners of the universe. But the crowd, instead of erupting in righteous anger, merely blinked in confusion. Their faces, previously etched with fear and anticipation, now held a mix of bewilderment and disbelief. Then, like the hero rising from the ashes, the King of Death stepped forward. His eyes, once pools of quiet contemplation, now blazed with an inner light that rivaled a supernova. As the lizard mage, still reeling from her revelation, drew his blood, the soul orb began to glow, but not with darkness. Oh no, this was a light so pure, so brilliant, that it made the sun look like a dim candle in a dusty basement. The crowd erupted in awe, their jaws practically hitting the floor. The lizard mage stumbled back, her words caught in her throat like a fish out of water. This is impossible. A soul so pure, so filled with light. It's like looking into the heart of the goddess herself, she sputtered, her voice reduced to a barely audible whisper. With a theatrical flourish that would make even the most seasoned showman proud, she declared the King of Death not merely a hero, but the apostle of the goddess, a being of such purity that he shouldn't even share the same air as mortals, let alone walk among them. Yet, despite her dramatic pronouncements, the crowd remained hesitant. They saw him not as a savior, but as an obstacle, a pesky roadblock in their quest to vanquish their true enemy, the elusive demon king. But the King of Death, ever the calm and collected one, remained unfazed by their doubts. With a smile that could melt glaciers, he revealed his true identity. Kim Gong Ja Nim, the one who had already vanquished the evil that plagued their world. He summoned forth a legion of skeletons, each one a former evil lord who had dared to cross his path and found themselves permanently redecorated as bony reminders of his power. He explained, with a voice that could soothe the wildest beast, that his actions were guided by the goddess herself, that he was merely a humble instrument in her grand design to bring about justice. The lizard mage, humbled by his revelation and the sheer number of bony ex-evil lords, could only cry out, "He was doing this for us. All this time, he was fighting for us." The paladins, witnessing his power and purity firsthand, finally understood. They knelt before him, their swords clattering to the ground like a child's discarded toys. They offered their loyalty, their hearts filled with gratitude and a newfound respect. The King of Death, with a heavy heart that spoke of the immense burden he was about to shoulder, accepted their request. He knew the road ahead would be long and arduous, but he also knew that he could not abandon the trust they had placed in him. As the system, a computerized voice that sounded suspiciously like a bored teenager, congratulated him on clearing the 20th floor and becoming the hero of the frozen world. The King of Death knew that his journey was far from over. He had won the war against evil, but the battle for the hearts and minds of the people had just begun. And he, with his wit, his charm, and his army of skeletons, was ready to face it head-on. The King of Death stood alone, gazing upon the rewards of his solo conquest of the 8th floor. His achievement was monumental, yet he remained unfazed by the whispers and accusations that swirled around him. He was a man of purpose, unburdened by the need for validation. News of his exploits spread like wildfire throughout the tower, igniting a frenzy of speculation and curiosity. Articles praised his prowess, analyzed his motives, and delved into the mystery of his origins. The quiet hunter had become a sensation, his name etched into the rankings of the greatest. The Black Dragon Witch, a figure of immense power and intrigue, approached the King of Death with a proposition. In exchange for his assistance in forging trade relations with a newly discovered continent, she offered him a prize beyond compare, all of the land on the 20th floor. He, who valued land above mere riches, readily agreed, leaving the other guild masters to ponder his enigmatic nature. As they prepared to meet with the others, the Black Dragon Witch offered a cryptic warning. Beyond the immediate rewards, the King of Death would soon realize the true weight of his actions. His path, once shrouded in solitude, was now illuminated by the spotlight of notoriety, leading him towards a future filled with challenges and unforeseen consequences. The King of Death stood on the precipice of change, the echo of the witch's words resonating within him. His journey, once a solitary trek through the shadows, was about to take a dramatic turn, propelling him onto a stage where his every move would be scrutinized and his actions would have far-reaching consequences. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, but one thing was certain: the King of Death was no longer a mere hunter, but a force to be reckoned with. The news of Hunter King of Death clearing floor of the tower took the world by storm. Reporters and photographers swarmed the tower, clamoring for a glimpse of the mysterious figure. The tower management, in response to the public's demand, decided to hold a press conference with King of Death. King of Death, a young man with a stoic expression, entered the conference room amidst a flurry of flashes. He was initially hesitant to speak, but eventually, he opened up about his motivations for climbing the tower. He spoke of wanting to prove his strength and worth, and of his desire to help those in need. The reporters were captivated by King of Death's charisma and self-assuredness. They barraged him with questions about his past, his abilities, and his plans for the future. King of Death, however, remained tight-lipped about his personal life, deflecting questions with grace and humor. The press conference was a resounding success. King of Death emerged as a hero, an inspiration to aspiring hunters, and a symbol of hope for the oppressed citizens of the world. The tower management, recognizing the immense potential of King of Death, decided to make him the official face of the tower. King of Death was initially reluctant to accept this role. He preferred to remain in the shadows, away from the public eye. However, he eventually conceded, realizing that he could use his newfound fame to help others. He began making anonymous donations to orphanages and charities, and he used his platform to speak out against injustice and oppression. King of Death's journey from an unknown hunter to a celebrated hero was an inspiring one. He proved that anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, could achieve greatness through hard work and dedication. His story continues to inspire people today, reminding them that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a brighter future. The crowd watched in awe as the hunter, King of Death, single-handedly defeated the boss of Floor 11. Whispers circulated that he was a grand rookie, a hero secretly trained by the major guilds. Some even worried that the major guilds were planning to monopolize floors 11 to 20 for themselves. Meanwhile, King of Death stood before the goddess of protection, a mysterious sword who had once been a holy spirit. She boasted about her power, claiming that if he could find her sister swords, she could regain her full strength. King of Death, however, seemed more interested in her ability to offer him absolute support from the citizens of the Agem. As the press conference began, reporters bombarded King of Death with questions, some questioning his legitimacy and others worried about the major guild's intentions. The goddess of protection, ever confident, urged King of Death to ignore them and focus on his task, stopping the monsters from taking over the world. Despite the noise and the doubts, King of Death remained calm, his eyes fixed on the challenge ahead. He knew he had a job to do, and he wouldn't let anything, not even the whispers of conspiracy, distract him from his purpose. King of Death stood poised before a throng of eager reporters. His face betrayed no emotion, but the questions flew like arrows, each seeking to pierce the veil of his identity and motives. One reporter dared to question his legitimacy, planting seeds of doubt in the minds of many. Undeterred, the King of Death leaned on the counsel of the enigmatic goddess of protection. She urged him to embrace his supposed inadequacies, turning them into shields against the media's relentless scrutiny. He spoke of his lack of experience and public speaking skills, deflecting questions about his past and motivations. He focused instead on his achievements, emphasizing the hard work and sacrifice that led him to claim the exclusive rights to floors too. In a magnanimous gesture, he declared Floor a Greenbelt Zone, a sanctuary for the remaining tower inhabitants. With a firm tone, he pledged to continue clearing the tower, aiming for 0 casualties. As the press conference drew to a close, the Black Dragon Witch, a powerful figure in her own right, stepped forward with a final question. What was the nature of their relationship? The Black Dragon Witch's reply was enigmatic, more than friends. This intentional ambiguity sparked a blaze of speculation and controversy, leaving the media hungry for more. Later, in the quiet of the tower, the Black Dragon Witch revealed the truth behind his words. It was a smokescreen, a calculated move to divert attention away from him. She assured him that she, well versed in the fickle nature of the media, would shield him from their prying eyes. Meanwhile, the administrator, the enigmatic voice that governed the tower, spoke to the climbers. He acknowledged their achievements, praising them for breaking free from the Demon King's influence. He warned them, however, that the true challenge lay ahead. Floor 21 and beyond, he declared, would be a different beast entirely. But then, in a shocking turn of events, the administrator made a chilling announcement. Only a select few, deemed worthy, would be allowed to continue their ascent. In a flash of light, the rest were forcibly removed, leaving behind only a handful of warriors chosen to face the unknown dangers that lurked on the upper floors. The tower stood tall, a monument to mystery and danger. In a towering library filled with countless worlds, the hole-up-head librarian awaited the arrival of warriors. Eager to share the stories of canceled apocalypses, he welcomed them with open arms, his excitement barely contained. He explained that these apocalypses, unlike the one they had just cleared, met untimely ends due to unjust reasons. Their stories, incomplete and full of potential, lingered in the library, yearning for a chance to be rewritten. The librarian's quest was simple yet profound. Choose 8 volumes from among the fallen worlds, delve into their narratives, and rewrite their fates. He urged them to save these worlds from the clutches of cancellation, to give their stories the ending they deserved. With determination burning in their eyes, the warriors accepted the challenge. They ventured into the vast collection, each seeking a story that resonated with their souls. As they delved deeper, they encountered worlds ravaged by fire, drowned by water, and consumed by countless other calamities. The stories they found were filled with heartbreak and loss, yet also with hope and resilience. They met characters who fought against impossible odds, their spirits unbroken despite the hardships they faced. As the warriors read, they felt a deep sense of connection to these fallen worlds. They saw their own struggles reflected in the characters' journeys, and their own desires for justice mirrored in the fight against cancellation. Fueled by this connection and a burning desire to make a difference, the warriors began to rewrite the narratives. They brought their own creativity and strength to the stories, crafting new paths for the characters and shaping the destinies of the worlds. With each rewritten page, the cancelled apocalypses began to bloom anew. The stories that were once destined for oblivion were given a second chance, their heroes finding redemption and their worlds a new hope for a brighter future. In the vast library known as the Great Library, the whole-up-head librarian greeted the warriors with a radiant smile. He reminded them to treat the books with respect and emphasized the importance of maintaining cleanliness in the hallowed halls. To aid them on their journey, he bestowed upon them magical maps called bookmark maps, which would guide them until they reached floor 30. Before embarking on their quest, the librarian laid down some ground rules. He warned them not to touch any book without his permission, as these were unique apocalypses with only one volume in existence. Additionally, he emphasized the importance of courteous behavior and avoiding any unnecessary disruptions. The librarian then unveiled a hidden reward, a blessing from the god of snakes. Additionally, he announced that from floor 21 onwards, they would be able to observe the favorability rating of other characters, a revelation that sparked excitement among the warriors. Elated, Kim Gongja explored his newly acquired character window and perks. He realized that understanding the characters' preferences would be a valuable tool in their endeavors. Meanwhile, the Black Witch reminded everyone of the live broadcast. She stressed the importance of maintaining professional conduct and showcasing themselves in a positive light before the watching audience. As the librarian activated his ability, forbidden books deemed too dangerous for anyone to touch materialized before them. He emphasized the importance of respecting his warnings and not attempting to access these powerful tomes. Finally, the warriors gathered around, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. The librarian encouraged them to choose books that were both feasible to clear and beneficial for them to acquire as floor 22, their next destination. With their mission clear and hearts brimming with excitement, the warriors prepared to dive into the captivating collection of cancelled apocalypses, embarking on a journey that could potentially change the fate of countless worlds. Their adventure had just begun, and the possibilities were endless. The warriors stood poised within the grand halls of the Great Library, anticipation shimmering in the air. On the precipice of a momentous adventure, the warriors stood poised at the threshold of a vast library, a treasure trove of cancelled apocalypses. The hero stood at the precipice, gazing into the swirling vortex that led to the martial realm. Uncertainty clouded his mind, a stark contrast to the usual confidence that radiated from him. He knew that venturing into this unknown territory could be dangerous. A man shrouded in mystery and capable of unimaginable feats spurred him forward. His thoughts drifted back to Shiny, the fragment of the goddess of protection trapped within him. The Emperor, once a benevolent ruler, had inexplicably turned on her, splitting her essence and scattering it across various worlds. Shiny, in her fragmented form, had no memory of her past or her purpose. The hero felt a deep responsibility to help her, to reunite the goddess and restore balance to the world. But doubts gnawed at him. The Emperor was a powerful being, strong enough to found an empire and split apart a constellation. He was also an elusive figure, able to travel between worlds at will. Just charging blindly into the martial realm seemed foolish, a recipe for disaster. He needed to be prepared. He needed knowledge, intelligence about the Emperor and his motives. And so, he turned to the veritable records of the heavenly demon, hoping to find answers within its pages. Perhaps there, amidst the tales of legendary heroes and mythical beasts, he would find the key to defeating the Emperor and saving Shiny. As he opened the ancient tome, a sense of determination filled him. Fear lingered, but it was overshadowed by his unwavering resolve. He would face whatever challenges awaited him in the martial realm, for the sake of Shiny and the greater good of the world. He would not let his guard down. He would not succumb to overconfidence. He would learn, he would strategize, and he would emerge victorious. The Sword King, loyal yet wary, surveyed the scene with a watchful eye. Beside him stood the King of Death, his youthful spirit cloaked in the wisdom of experience. Their eyes met, a silent understanding passing between them. Across from them stood the Medicine King, his aged face etched with the arrogance of an undisputed champion. He, too, observed the scene with keen eyes, but his gaze held a hint of disdain for the younger King of Death. Completing the tableau was the apothecary, a young woman whose quiet confidence radiated outwards. Despite her youth, she carried herself with the poise of a seasoned veteran, her eyes reflecting a deep understanding of the healing arts. The air crackled with unspoken tension as the Medicine King scoffed, his voice dripping with condescension. He dismissed the apothecary's presence, questioning her skills and calling her the King of Death's side chick. But the apothecary held her head high, refusing to be cowed by the Medicine King's arrogance. She defended the King of Death, declaring that he was no brat and that his heart was far from rotten. The paladin, a witness to the exchange, intervened, confirming the apothecary's talent and contributions. He silenced the Medicine King's doubts, highlighting the excellence of the medicine she had created. Yet, the Medicine King remained unfazed. He boasted of his own achievements, comparing himself to the young King of Death and claiming that their journey was no different than scaling a small boulder. This arrogance provoked the Sword Emperor, who urged the Medicine King to stop belittling the King of Death. He questioned why the King of Death allowed himself to be owned in this way. The King of Death, however, saw an opportunity. He proposed a duel, a public challenge to settle their differences once and for all. He offered to give the Medicine King medical ingredients, each creating their own medicine, and letting the effects speak for themselves. The apothecary, though hesitant, agreed to participate. She knew this was her chance to prove herself, not only to the Medicine King, but to the world. Meanwhile, the Pussycat Guildmaster, observing the scene with amusement, saw the potential for profit. She began placing bets on the outcome of the duel, broadcasting it live across the world. As the Medicine King declared his epic health potion complete, the crowd roared in anticipation. Its bitter taste and potency were undeniable, solidifying the Medicine King's reputation as a master of his craft. But then came the apothecary's turn. She unveiled her creation, a potion so radiant that it needed to be shielded from the sun. The crowd gasped, captivated by its mesmerizing beauty. The stage was set for a clash of the titans, a battle between generations, experience, and raw talent. The stakes were high. The title of greatest medicine maker hung precariously in the balance. The Medicine King, his face etched with years of experience, presented his epic health potion, a concoction brewed with arrogance and boasting. It was potent, undeniably, but lacked a certain spark. In contrast, the apothecary's creation, the Soma Strawberry, held a quiet confidence. It shone with an ethereal beauty, radiating a warmth that spoke volumes of her skill and compassion. The first test was a severed limb. The Medicine King's potion successfully reattached it, but left the healed area scarred and weak. The apothecary's creation, however, restored the limb to its original state, leaving no trace of the injury. This set the tone for the remaining tests. The Medicine King, despite his experience and bravado, suffered a string of defeats. His potions, while effective, lacked the finesse and ingenuity displayed by the young apothecary. By the fourth trial, the Medicine King's pride was shattered. He refused to accept defeat, clinging onto the illusion of his own superiority. His arrogance had become a shield against the truth. The apothecary was simply better. The Sword Saint, ever the loyal friend, witnessed the Medicine King's humbling with a mixture of pity and disappointment. He recognized the apothecary's talent and wished he had trusted the King of Death sooner. As the apothecary's reputation soared, offers and accolades poured in. The Pussycat Guildmaster, ever the opportunist, proposed an exclusive contract, dangling lucrative rewards and promises of indulgence. Yet, the apothecary remained grounded. She acknowledged the King of Death as her employer, demonstrating loyalty and respect. Her focus remained on their shared goal, clearing the veritable records of the heavenly demon. Meanwhile, the librarian kid delivered a grim warning. Death within the apocalypse meant death in real life. The only escape was to prevent the inevitable doom and create a new ending. The King of Death, ever the pragmatist, accepted this reality. He saw in the apothecary not just talent, but also a potential partner in shaping the fate of the world. Together, they could rewrite the narrative and forge a brighter future. However, their journey to the veritable records was not without its challenges. The celestial clan master Viper desired to join the expedition. He clashed with the Sword Saint, both vying for the limited spots. The Paladin, ever the voice of reason, intervened. She reminded the Sword Saint of his past contributions and encouraged him to step aside, recognizing Viper's leadership role. Ultimately, the Sword Saint conceded, bowing to the Paladin's wisdom and respecting Viper's position. This act marked a turning point, showcasing the growth and selflessness he had cultivated. As the Chosen Four prepared to enter the veritable records, the librarian kid offered a final message. He entrusted them with the power to shape the narrative, to choose between eradicating the pandemic and saving the world, or harnessing it for their own gain. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. The apothecary, with her talent and newfound confidence, was no longer just a rising star. She had become a beacon of hope, leading the way towards a brighter, healthier world. The martial arts genre, once a vibrant and beloved part of our culture, had fallen on hard times. In this era of cynicism and sarcasm, there was no room for the sincere and disciplined practitioners of the ancient arts. It was a time of decline, and the future seemed bleak. Then, a strange disease swept through the land, killing the heavenly demon and countless others. It was a swift and merciless plague, leaving no trace except for the chilling cold and the snow that reached up to one's knees. Amidst this chaos, the King of Death, the apothecary, Viper, and the Medicine King found themselves drawn together by fate. They were an unlikely bunch, a master of death, a skilled herbalist, a martial arts master, and a renowned physician, but their combined talents would be needed to face the challenges ahead. The King of Death, with his powerful aura, protected them from the harsh elements. The apothecary, ever curious and eager to learn, used his skills to investigate the frozen bodies scattered around them. He discovered that they were real humans, victims of an unknown and deadly infection. As they journeyed further, they stumbled upon a chilling sight, a graveyard filled with frozen warriors, all standing upright. The apothecary, using his life diagnosis skill, determined that they had been dead for over 2 years. What had caused their downfall? Who had placed them in this grim tableau? Suddenly, a fierce battle erupted before them. 2 warriors clashed, their words filled with rage and desperation. They spoke of the demonic cult and the orthodox faction, of weapons of mass destruction and bloody battles. But the King of Death couldn't help but notice the absurdity of it all. These powerful warriors, armed with fearsome twig weapons, were bickering like children over names and labels. Their petty squabble was interrupted by a horrifying development. The frozen warriors, reanimated by a mysterious force, began to shamble towards them. The pandemic, it turned out, was no ordinary disease. It was a zombie apocalypse, and they were trapped in the midst of it. With their backs against the wall, the unlikely heroes were forced to put aside their differences and work together. Their journey had only just begun, and the fate of the world rested on their shoulders as they run faster than the speed of zombies. In the midst of the chaos, the group fled at breakneck speed. The Medicine King, shaken by the zombie apocalypse, could only lament, "I've never seen anything like this." Even in Silicon Valley, the King of Death, ever the strategist, realized that the only way to stop the relentless horde was to destroy their brains, just like in the zombie movies they had seen. Meanwhile, the 2 martial arts masters, bewildered by the surreal sight unfolding before them, questioned their own sanity. "Are we dead?" one asked. "Is this some sort of illusion?" the other wondered. Finally, the grim reality settled in. They were not dreaming, but trapped in a world overrun by the undead, which they call Gangsi. The demonic cult leader, sensing their confusion, confirmed that they were indeed not from this place. Viper, horrified by the Gangsi's incredible leaping abilities, cursed them as they flew towards the group like monstrous birds. The leader, proud of her creation, explained how she had trained her disciples to leave no trace in the snow and to retain their martial arts skills even after death. These elite warriors were programmed to react to bloodlust even in their sleep, a chilling testament to her macabre genius. Panic gripped the group as the Gangsi gained ground. The Medicine King, clinging to Viper in fear, witnessed the Viper carrying both the older gentleman while the King of Death held two beautiful women. A tinge of jealousy flickered in Viper's eyes. Suddenly, the King of Death cried out, "Do these Gangsi have any weaknesses?" The demonic cult leader replied, "Only sunlight or crushing their heads will stop them." An idea sparked in the King of Death's mind. He casually tossed the women and used his sword's light to halt the pursuing Gangsi, freezing them in their tracks. As they regrouped, the King of Death turned to Viper, "Protect the group while I eliminate the frozen Gangsi." The demonic cult leader, however, pleaded with him to stop. "They are our disciples," she explained, her voice filled with sorrow. "But you can kill the others with white robes. We lost many in the pandemic, and we cannot afford to lose any more." As the librarian kid reminded the spectators that they had only 10 days left to complete their mission before the book's unfortunate cancellation. He hoped for a happy ending, but the tension remained thick as ever. The two martial arts masters, Bu Wulsin and the demonic cult leader, finally introduced themselves. Their war, spanning 3 years and 989 days, was a stalemate, each refusing to yield. Their heated exchange echoed across the frozen landscape, a stark contrast to the eerie silence surrounding them. As the group stood there, poised on the brink of a new chapter, the weight of their situation hung heavy in the air. Would they be able to overcome the challenges ahead, or would they succumb to the horrors that plagued this world? Only time would tell. In a world shrouded in snow, the mighty Sword Emperor and the fearsome King of Death stumbled upon a peculiar sight. Two elderly figures, seemingly ordinary and frail, engaged in a fierce but oddly clumsy battle. Their martial arts movements were undeniably skilled, yet lacked the power and grace expected of such masters. Intrigued and baffled, the warriors watched as the old man and woman grappled and kicked, their faces contorted in concentration despite their apparent lack of vigor. The fight ended as abruptly as it began, with the old couple inviting the bewildered warriors into their humble abode. Inside, the warriors were offered meager hospitality, grain balls, strange and bland sustenance that barely resembled food. This only deepened their confusion. How could such skilled fighters be reduced to such a meager existence? As they conversed, the warriors learned that the aged couple had been surviving on grain balls for 2 years. Their weathered faces and stoic demeanor spoke of hardship and resilience. But the biggest surprise came when they learned the identity of the old man. A once celebrated Michelin-starred chef, the Medicine King, whose culinary skills had once tantalized the taste buds of royalty. The veterans, used to facing fearsome beasts and cunning villains, were left speechless. The contrast between the powerful warriors they had imagined and the reality of two frail figures battling over grain balls was truly comical. Their curiosity piqued. The warriors inquired about the couple's presence. His voice, filled with hope, explained his search for a cure for the Gangsi, a disease that had ravaged the world. He desperately hoped that the warriors from the outside world might finally hold the key to ending this suffering. With a newfound respect for the couple's resilience and unwavering hope, the warriors shared their own struggles in finding a cure. Though their quest remained unfinished, they pledged to assist the Medicine King in any way possible. Together, they embarked on a journey of collaboration, determined to find a cure for the Gangsi and restore peace to the world. The King of Death stared into the box. Inside lay the once proud head of the Wudang sect, now a lifeless husk infected with the dreaded Gangsi virus. It was an odd sight, a head that used to command armies and wield celestial magic reduced to a mere specimen for morbid research. The two leaders of the demon cult and the Orthodox sect stood before the king, their faces drawn with worry. They had been entrusted with the Wudong leader's body, tasked with finding a cure. But all their efforts had yielded was a half-baked solution: acupuncture needles to block the KI points, a desperate attempt to keep the virus at bay. As night fell, the King of Death remained vigilant, his eyes gleaming with an unsettling intelligence. He witnessed a curious spectacle: the two revered masters, stripped bare, taking a bath in the midst of a blizzard, their clothes clinging to their bodies like ghosts. Their movements were clumsy, their breathing labored, yet they exuded an aura of unnatural warmth. The king, sharp as a newly sharpened scythe, observed their ki flow. It was flawless, their stances perfect. But something was off. Their immense ki, instead of fueling their martial prowess, seemed to be channeled elsewhere. The Sword Emperor, a formidable warrior himself, was the first to sense the anomaly. Why do they move like children when their breathing techniques are so refined? He inquired, his voice a rumble of thunder. The King of Death, a smirk playing on his skeletal lips, offered a chillingly accurate deduction. Their ki is not merely for movement, he declared. It is a dam, holding back the tide of corruption within them. He was right. The bite of the Gangxi had unleashed a demonic energy within the two masters. Their remarkable ki reserves were the only thing keeping them from succumbing to the full transformation. For 3 years they had fought, using their ki 24/7 to maintain a semblance of humanity. Every beat of their hearts, every movement of their muscles, every blink of their eyes, all powered by their dwindling ki. The truth was as stark as the night sky itself. They were not warriors, but prisoners within their own bodies, their every moment a struggle against oblivion. The bite had robbed them of their power, their freedom, their very essence. And yet, they had endured. They had chosen to live, even in such a diminished state. Their struggle was a testament to the human spirit, a beacon of defiance in the face of darkness. So, the King of Death watched, a mixture of admiration and pity in his hollow eyes. He had seen countless battles, countless deaths. But this was a dance macabre, a fight against fate itself. And though the outcome was uncertain, one thing was clear: the two masters, despite their limitations, were the truest warriors he had ever known. They were fighting not for glory or power, but for the very right to exist. And in that fight, they were not alone. The King of Death, ever the observer, had found himself caught in their struggle, his own existence intertwined with theirs. For in their fight for life, he saw a reflection of his own. They were all, in their own way, fighting against the inevitable. And that, he realized, was a battle worth watching. Back in the before times, when zombies were just the stuff of bad movies, the heavenly demon Nim's disciples were having a serious talk. The world was going to hell in a handbasket. Zombies were multiplying like rabbits on Red Bull, and other factions were starting to buddy up like drunken karaoke singers. It was time for the demon Nim to take a hike, literally, and head to the zombie-free shores of Nakto. But the demon Nim, stubborn as a donkey on a sugar high, refused. She was all about oaths and duty, even when the world was falling apart like a cheap suit. Finally, one of her disciples, bless their exasperated soul, decided to try a different approach. They told her a story, a cautionary tale about a master who was so invincible he could eat poison for breakfast and bathe in lava. He was basically a walking tank, except, well, he wasn't. Turns out, this seemingly unstoppable dude had a weakness, not to swords, not to fire, but to pleasure, of the very specific kind. Enter the succubus, a creature who could make a monk break his vows faster than you can say hallelujah. She started slow, with little nibbles of delight, then gradually increased the heat until our invincible hero was begging for more, even when she was whipping him silly. In the end, the succubus didn't even have to work hard. The master died with a smile on his face, suffocating on a wave of ecstasy. He might have been untouchable in battle, but he was no match for a good old-fashioned pleasure overload. Moral of the story: don't mess with succubi, kids. The old geezer who shared this tale then added his own 2 cents. Being a martial artist isn't about being invincible, it's about choosing how you live and how you die. Even the greatest warriors eventually kick the bucket, whether it's from a sword to the gut or a heart attack from too much chili. The point is to live a life you're proud of, even if it ends with you being turned into a zombie snack. So, the demon Nim and her disciples continued their grim task, arranging corpses like furniture before they turned into flesh-eating fiends. They fought like toddlers in a snowstorm, day after day, a dance of death against the inevitable. Meanwhile, the King of Death and the Sword Emperor watched from afar, like spectators at a particularly morbid play. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the two warriors stumbled back to their cave, defeated but not broken. The King of Death, ever the optimist, asked the apothecary about the progress of the cure. She, bless her overworked soul, sighed and said it would take at least 120 days. The Medicine King, even less optimistic, doubled that estimate. In reality, they had maybe 10 days before they were all zombie chow. But the King of Death wouldn't have it. With a smile that could charm the pants off a banshee, he assured the apothecary that everything would be all right. He would solve their problems, carry their burdens, and clear away any doubts clouding their minds. All they had to do was believe in themselves and keep working. And so, the unlikely heroes continued their fight, each day a new battle against the encroaching darkness. Their faith in the King of Death and their own unwavering spirit were their only weapons, but sometimes that's all you need. Even in the face of a seemingly insurmountable foe, hope can bloom in the most unexpected places, like a fragile flower pushing through cracks in the concrete. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, it's enough to save them all. The apothecary, surrounded by vials and bottles, muttered to herself, "Without the King of Death's intervention, I'd still be scraping by in those wretched slums," she thought, a mix of gratitude and frustration swirling within her. But with zero equipment, how can I possibly finish this cure in time? Suddenly, her eyes narrowed with determination. I owe the king everything. It's time to pay him back. With a flourish, she turned to the Medicine King, her eyes blazing with urgency. We need to work together to complete this cure immediately. The Medicine King, older and more experienced, bristled. I'm not some assistant to be bossed around by a young whippersnapper. But before he could protest further, the apothecary unleashed her secret weapons. Let's play with a full deck, shall we? She purred, revealing two powerful skills: moving hospital, capable of performing real-time medical tests with only a 2% chance of error, and life diagnosis, granting her the ability to see into the very genetic code of her patients. The Medicine King's jaw dropped. You reveal your most valuable secrets so readily. He stammered, aghast. Think of it as opening all the cards on the table, the apothecary explained, a mischievous glint in her eyes. With my skills, we can dramatically increase our chances of success. And if I help you find the cure, you won't claim credit. You'll let me take all the glory. His ego still inflated, the Medicine King reached out and slapped the apothecary across the face. Unfazed, the apothecary calmly adjusted her glasses. I only require your cooperation, she stated coolly. Now, please do as you are instructed. She turned to the King of Death, sensing his presence. Your breathing is distracting, she said with a slight smile. Please step outside and gather 6 more zombie samples. And don't forget the ingredients on the list. Days turned into weeks. A fierce blizzard raged outside, trapping them in their makeshift laboratory. The demon cult leader, her face grim, explained that such blizzards could last up to 30 days, granting the zombies free rein to roam and multiply. Once, there were nearly 1,000 of each group. She sighed. Now, only 500 remain. The King of Death, his sharp eyes taking everything in, inquired about the depletion of their ki. Once your ki is exhausted, the cult leader explained, you will cease to move entirely. Your remaining ki will only be enough to maintain the functions of your heart and lungs. She recalled the Shaolin monk who had endured for a year with them. He entered nirvana, smiling peacefully as he became one with the virus. His last words were Amitabha Buddha. The cult leader's voice trembled as she spoke of her fears. The fear of darkness, the fear of losing all mobility, the fear of dying a slow, agonizing death. Just then, the old geezer master, tears streaming down his face, called out to her. I can move no more, he confessed. My ki reserves are depleted after 3 long years. Forgive me. The apothecary approached him, a gentle sadness in her eyes. You have nothing to apologize for, she said softly. You fought bravely, and your sacrifice will not be forgotten. As the old geezer master closed his eyes for the last time, the apothecary knew that the burden of finding a cure now rested solely on her shoulders. But she was not afraid. Armed with her wits, her skills, and the unwavering support of the King of Death, she was determined to succeed. For them, for the future, for the hope of a world free from the clutches of the zombie virus. His face, pale and sweaty, trembled on his deathbed. I'm truly sorry, he croaked to the demon cult leader, his voice barely a whisper. We swore to die fighting, not like this. The apothecary, grim-faced, shook her head. There's nothing more I can do for him. The demon cult leader, eyes filled with fury and grief, turned to the Axe King. Don't you dare apologize, she roared. Stand up, you useless lump. You're the great Axe King. Remember who you are, the Axe King. Weak and defeated, mumbled another apology. I can't. I'm out of key. I can't even lift my axe. His voice trailed off, filled with shame. Don't you dare compare yourself to that Shaolin monk, the demon cult leader snapped. You're going to die by my blade, like a warrior. Tears welled up in his eyes as she held the Axe King's prized oak halberd. Just say it, she choked out. Say the words. War has forgotten chivalry and chivalry has forgotten war, the Axe King, his voice a mere rasp, pleaded, please, kill me with mercy. The demon cult leader, her heart heavy with sadness, raised the halberd. But before she could strike, the Axe King spoke, his voice barely audible. I can't. I'm so sorry. With a mighty swing, the demon cult leader plunged the halberd into the Axe King's head, but she missed. This is meaningless. Her voice filled with despair. Day 9 of the apocalypse, the Axe King was gone, devoured by the virus. The apothecary, her face pale and drawn, examined his body. He's been infected for years, she muttered. The virus spread slowly to his brain. As they analyzed their research, a grim realization dawned on them. They had only 1 day left before the quest would be considered a failure. Just then, a horrifying scene unfolded. The Axe King's corpse, reanimated as a zombie, lunged for the demon cult leader. Pathetic, she shrieked. You're nothing but a mindless beast. With a chilling smile, she quoted the Axe King's last words. War has forgotten chivalry and chivalry has forgotten war. Then, she did something unthinkable. She forced her hand to the zombie's mouth, letting it bite her. The viper, witnessing this act of madness, was aghast. What are you doing? You'll turn into one of them. The Sword Emperor, his face grim, warned the King of Death. The demon lord is in disarray. The demon cult leader, eyes blazing with madness, turned her gaze towards the others. Are you the righteous ones? The ones who came from another world to destroy me? In a terrifying display of power, she unleashed a series of deadly blows, decapitating the Medicine King and striking down the viper. Let's save your world, the King of Death declared, as he fell to the demon lord's blade. The apothecary, carried by the viper, watched in horror as the world plunged into darkness. The quest had failed, and the demon lord, consumed by her own darkness, had become an even greater threat. And so, the story of the Axe King, the demon cult leader, and their tragic end became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked grief and the seductive power of vengeance. In a world where gods tripped on banana peels and demons complained about bad Wi-Fi, the King of Death, ever the overachiever, was stuck choosing a new skill after a rather inconvenient demise. It was like picking toppings for his existential sundae, except some toppings came with existential angst as a side dish. Enter the demonic heavenly god art, a martial arts style so edgy it could cut diamonds. Imagine swirling hurricanes of hate and resentment into a ki smoothie. That's basically this bad boy. But there was a catch. The angrier you got, the more it messed with your perception, basically turning the world into a reality TV show with extra static. Now, The King of Death wasn't exactly sunshine and rainbows incarnate, but he preferred his angst with a side of cucumber, not existential dread. Still, intrigued by the potential power punch, he decided to give it a go. It was like trying on leather pants made of barbed wire, exciting, but definitely not for the faint of heart or delicate underthings. Meanwhile, the Sword Emperor, the King of Death's partner in this strange cosmic game of tag, couldn't help but crack wise. So, you're basically becoming Adam to her Eve. Huh. Only way weirder. The King of Death, ever dignified, just rolled his eyes, muttering something about preferring his partners without scales and a fondness for apples. As they delved deeper into the skill, the days blurred into a snow globe of déjà vu. Same frozen corpses, same hungry ghosts, same apothecary with a killer smile, literally, since she was the medicine king. The only difference was the King of Death, fueled by his new demonic arts, channeling his inner emo teenager and practicing throwing shade at the heavens with laser precision. Then, amidst the existential blizzard, came a moment that made even the Sword Emperor raise an eyebrow. The King of Death, ever the smooth operator, declared his desire to become the demon lord Baekhyang's disciple. It was like watching a penguin propose to a volcano, unexpected, potentially messy, but oddly heartwarming. And so, our unlikely trio ventured forth, a walking paradox of light and darkness, friendship and angst, all wrapped up in a quest for a cure and a killer ending. Who knew? Maybe in this strange world Adam and Eve could make it work after all, even if it meant holding hands through the apocalypse and using demonic shadow puppets to entertain the afterlife. One thing was for sure, with the King of Death channeling his inner goth rock star and the Sword Emperor cracking puns like a dad on steroids, this apocalypse promised to be anything but dull. A snow globe explodes like a popped popcorn kernel, and out tumbleweeds a child, looking 10 days fresher than a freezer full of popsicles. Old Granny Frost near bursts a vein, sputtering, 10 days in a blizzard. You, kid, are either a walking snowball or a frosted fortune cookie, and frankly, I'm too old for riddles. Meanwhile, in the underworld's deepest disco, Demon Lord Baekhyang throws a tantrum that would make a banshee blush. No disciples. My teachings are for the lost and lonely, not some wannabe grim reaper with a grudge and a scythe. This spectral freeloader, the King of Death, isn't buying it. Orphan. Check. Abandoned by the cosmos. Double check. And let me tell you, my grudge against all things living could power 1,000 disco balls. Intrigued by the Reaper's icy audacity, Baekhyang throws him a bone. Figuratively, souls are more her style. Master the triple sword technique, thrill me, and maybe, just maybe, I'll defrost your frosty attitude. The King of Death unleashes a dance of blades fueled by every existential angst he's ever collected. Even Baekhyang, used to slicing through nightmares, blinks. Whoa, Nelly. You copied my ultimate move like a drunken hippo on roller skates. Where'd you learn that? In a haunted kindergarten. Cue the dramatic collapse, the King of Death gasping like a goldfish out of water. The apothecary rolls his eyes, muttering about overzealous reapers needing IV drips like toddlers need juice boxes. The Sword Emperor chimes in. Slow down, Reaper. Building blocks before fireworks, remember. You want to join the dearly departed full-time. So, there you have it. A child of ice and an underworld queen, a forbidden technique mastered sloppily, but impressively, and questions swirling like snowflakes in a blizzard. Will the King of Death prove his worth? Will Baekhyang accept a Reaper as her disciple? Baekhyang, our glacial girl, entered a village where kids were as thick as flies on a rotten peach. They could eat, sleep, and play all they wanted, a paradise for orphans. Right. Wrong. Think more poisonous insect stew simmering on a revenge fire. Every kid there had their past, chewed up by tragedy, spat out bitter, and gathered in this pot to see who had the most potent venom talent. Baekhyang wasn't one for such stews. While the other kids played venomous charades, she dug into honest dirt, helping farmers coax life from it. This, of course, confused the village elders, who'd rather she join the venomous dance. Why work, little snowflake? They cooed. Eat, play, let us pamper you. But Baekhyang saw through their honeyed words. These old farmers weren't showering kids with kindness. They were sharpening blades for vengeance. Their children, stolen by those above, fueled their rage, and these orphans were the whetstones. Suddenly, the village's true nature, a twisted warrior forge, clicked for Baikyang. This wasn't Peach Blossom Spring, it was Peach Blossom Poison Pit. Just then, Granny Frost, one of the 7 elders of the demonic cult Buddha, seriously. Is there a disco ball in hell? Sashayed in. Passed my little test, you have, she cackled. Call me master. Your sword will sing a death aria for countless souls. Bam. Instant disciple ceremony. Fast forward to present Baekhyung, now a fearsome warrior, orders the king of death around like a grumpy cat demands tuna. Bath first reaper, she snarls. Scrub that grime off. He jokes about washing his heart too, earning a scoff. Spare me the silver tongue, Slytherin. Then, the bombshell the king of death saw the Peach Blossom Pit's twisted truth in a past vision. He can see the echoes of time. This spectral sneak Bakyang, ever the pragmatist, throws him a bone to gnaw on, a disciple trial. Your words ooze more than Peach's reaper, she says. Prove it. Defeat that rising star brat down there. Hungry. The demonic heavenly god art sings loudest when your belly growls like a banshee. She thrusts upon him the 9 forms of the sword, each a venomous bite in the dance of death by starvation. So, our glacial girl and the spectral storyteller stand poised on the edge of destiny. Will the king of death become a warrior forged in hunger, or will his past visions trip him up? Can 2 souls with secrets as sharp as their blades find something other than vengeance in their fated encounter? The zombie star demon cultist unleashed a Hadouken, a blast of energy ripped from a rival anime, catching the king of death completely off guard. Baikyang, fiery warrior princess, roared, feel the hunger, swing that blade with the bite of starving wolves. Shocked silence followed as the king of death confessed his longest stretch of hunger, a measly 3 to 4 days. Baikyang's disappointment was a physical blow. Could this pampered prince, this supposed king of death, be so pathetic? Disillusioned, she turned away. Suddenly, a bone-crunching bite shattered the tension. The zombie's teeth sank into the king of death, igniting a fury within him. The training scenario, repeated endlessly, had become unbearable. He stormed out of the cave, hunger and humiliation gnawing at him. His eyes stumbled upon the sight of Baikyang, scarred and gaunt after enduring 112 days of starvation. Her sacrifice mocked his weakness. Shame burned him more than hunger ever could. The Sword Emperor's booming voice echoed, 100 days. You couldn't even last 100. Desperation sparked a twisted plan. He learned from Baikyang's agony. At the 15-day mark, when the world started to lose its vibrancy, he would take his own life. A temporary death, a reset. He'd harness the surge of strength and aura that followed, pushing the limit each time. This macabre dance with death became his twisted path to power. So, in the echoing darkness of the cave, the king of death embraced a morbid dance. Hunger, death, and rebirth. His unorthodox training, fueled by desperation and shame, would forge him into a warrior, unlike any other. The question wasn't whether he could defeat the enemy, but whether he could survive himself. 7 days had bled into one, etched on the king of death's bones by gnawing hunger and sluggish thoughts. His life hummed on a dimmer frequency, a slow waltz with his own mortality. It dawned on him, amidst the meditation's hollow quiet, that he was missing the point. Baikyang hadn't spoken of a mere gnawing need for food, but the desperate fight against it, the labor without reward, the endless toil on an empty stomach. Shame lashed him to his feet. He stumbled outside, the world a hazy canvas drained of color. The fields, parched and skeletal, mirrored his own state. No rain had graced the land for 6 moons, leaving the farmers chewing bark and boiling shadows like a grotesque broth. Their hunger, a tangible miasma, hung heavy in the air. His family, huddled and hollow-eyed, watched him with a flicker of hope dimming by the minute. He could see it in their weary faces, the same hunger gnawing at their souls. In that moment, a spark ignited within him, a twisted echo of Baikyang's sacrifice. He had tasted the edge of oblivion, and there, in the desolate field, the sword of starvation took its first form. He realized his hunger wasn't just his burden, it was a weapon. He could draw them in, the ravenous hordes of zombies, their collective emptiness a beacon to his own. With a twisted smirk, he summoned his macabre retinue, skeletal warriors from his closet, the ravenous Preta, all eager to serve. His orders were simple: gather them all, the scattered legions of 112, and let him feast on their hunger. He would become a conduit, a living storm cloud of insatiable need, drawing their life force in and his own power out. It was a gamble, a dance on the razor's edge of self-destruction, but in the eyes of his starving family, he saw a flicker of desperate hope. And so, the King of Death, fueled by shame and a hunger darker still, prepared to claim the one thing the endless wasteland couldn't take: power. The fate of his people, and perhaps himself, hung in the balance, precariously poised on the blade of the sword of starvation. A cold wind whispered through the skeletal ruins of the 20th floor, chilling even the unflappable Preta. Her gaze flickered from the scattered bones of 112 zombies to the slumped form of the King of Death, his life flickering like a dying ember. My Master Preta's voice, usually sharp as obsidian, softened with concern. Why this madness? 112 souls, your own life force. He coughed, a rattling rasp against the silence. The sword Preta. I must understand its hunger, their hunger, all of it. Her eyes, haunted by memories of their shared past, met his. But if you die? His weak hand reached out, a skeletal touch on hers. Then we die together, as we always have. Remember our village. You, the Demon King, and I, the ostracized girl. A flicker of a smile touched Preta's lips. The 20th floor, their sanctuary carved from sacrifice, stood testament to their unlikely bond. He had freed her, created a haven where the ostracized found refuge, protected by the King of Death himself. The hunters, the guilds, even the empire, all bowed to his strength, ensuring their peace. Even when you lost your powers, you found another way, Preta whispered. Your apothecary, with your green-haired chick's knowledge, heals the sick. You could have stopped there, my king. Yet, you choose this. This descent into the abyss. His chest heaved, each breath a struggle. The abyss whispers Preta. It calls to the hunger within. I must answer, or it will consume us both. And so, he fell. The system, cold and calculating, laid bare the souls of the 112. Starvation's icy grip, the desperation of gnawing hunger, the bitter despair of eating dirt cookies, a kaleidoscope of suffering unfolded before the King of Death's inner eye. He choked on the phantom dirt, a taste worse than death itself. Shame and horror clawed at him, pushing him to the precipice of oblivion. But at the brink, an ember of defiance flickered. No, he would not be undone. He would face this test, not as a king, but as the one who shared their pain. He stabbed himself, a crimson bloom against the bone-white floor. Time rewound, a cruel dance of repetition. Once more, he stood before the Hadouken-wielding Gangxi, but this time, his eyes burned with the hunger of 112 souls. He dashed, a blur of honed instinct and desperate need. This was no mere fight. It was the roar of defiance against a symphony of suffering. The Gangxi, bewildered by the King of Death's sudden ferocity, fell before the unleashed first form of the sword of starvation. The heavenly demon cult lord, draped in crimson finery, scrutinized the King of Death's practice. She scoffed. Not bad, I suppose. You grasped the first form of the sword of hunger. The King of Death, ever the sardonic wit, raised an eyebrow. Good enough. Is that the best you can muster? My dear cult lord, your ego seems to be parched for praise. Her nostrils flared, indignant. I said you did it skillfully. Do I need to bow before you to satiate your mocking thirst? Oh, please, he drawled. Don't resort to theatrics. I wouldn't want to break your precious pride. Their banter, a verbal dance bordering on duel, was abruptly interrupted by the cult lord's exasperated yell. Why don't you become the teacher? Then I'll be your student. He chuckled, a dry rasp that echoed in the cavernous hall. Does that mean you finally acknowledge me as your master? Her face contorted into a grimace. You are the most insufferable. Silence descended, thick and heavy, until the King of Death broke it with a sigh. He peered into her mind, a skill honed through numerous trials, and saw a tempest of emotions swirling within. Annoyance, yes, but beneath it, a flicker of something else, concern. He realized then that her harsh words stemmed not from malice, but from a twisted desire to protect him. In her own way, she wanted him to live, even if it meant surviving in a world stripped bare of light. The second test commenced, a clash of titans between the Sword Emperor, a spectral warrior from another realm, and the flamboyant cult lord. His booming voice filled the air as he regaled them with tales of his world, where demons were but whispers of fear, and the heavenly demon a mere shadow. I fought him, he declared, his voice resonating with pride, and with each blow, his power dwindled. The system itself cowered, renaming him the earthly demon. Such was the shame of his defeat. A spark ignited in the King of Death's eyes. The Emperor's tale, a testament to his own strength, served as a potent motivator. His gaze turned inward, a reminder of the debt he owed, the wager they had struck. His next challenge, an army of elite warriors, animated corpses driven by an insatiable thirst. He had to embrace the scorching desert within, to let it guide his every move. The fight was swift, a blur of parries and ripostes, culminating in a sudden, unexpected death. He repeated the morbid ritual, his body a vessel for the agony of the fallen. This time, he craved not food, but water, his throat a parched wasteland begging for a single drop. He called upon Preda, his loyal companion, his voice hoarse yet resolute. Gather them all, he rasped, the white-robed warriors and the black. Let them clash on this barren field. For here, amidst the dust and despair, a war will be waged. A war between good and evil, fought not with steel, but with the primal thirst that binds us all. His words hung heavy in the air, a promise of chaos and conflict. The King of Death mastered the sword of thirst. The heavenly demon cult lord, once haughty and condescending, now brimmed with an almost manic enthusiasm. Her crimson robe swirled as she declared, Your form, your sword. It no longer battles mere mortals, but the world itself. This is not of our school, but of the righteous sect, a legacy unforeseen. Intrigued, the King of Death leaned in. The cult lord, transformed by his progress, revealed a secret technique, the art of savoring an apple in the throes of illness and hunger. It was not about satiating the body, but about channeling the spirit of those silenced by suffering. In that simple act, the core of their power resided. Fueled by this revelation, the King of Death unleashed a whirlwind of forms, the sword of starvation, a gaunt specter of hunger, the sword of thirst, a mirage shimmering in the desert, the sword of the drowned, a crushing tidal wave, and finally, the sword of the cold, a whisper of frost cutting through the air. The cult lord, eyes wide with awe, applauded his rapid mastery. You, King of Death, walk a path none have dared before. We are but embers compared to your blazing inferno. But their moment of mutual respect was shattered by an unexpected arrival. The arrival of the Axe Saint, a stoic figure cloaked in weathered hide and clutching a fearsome axe, cast a heavy shadow across the cavern. His gnarled features, etched with the wisdom of countless battles, betrayed a simmering resentment towards the vibrant cult lord. He ain't received the 9 bows yet. His voice rumbled, a low growl that echoed through the stone chamber. The King of Death, ever the inquisitive observer, leaned forward. The 9 bows, a sacred ritual, a pact of allegiance forged in pain, binding master and disciple in an unbreakable bond. The Sword Emperor, his spectral form shimmering with faded glory, chuckled dryly, reminiscing about his own brutal initiation. 63 strikes to the head, a record forever etched in his madness. The Axe Saint's words, laced with veiled criticism, ignited a volcano within the cult lord. How dare you? she roared, her scarlet robe swirling as she ripped at her hair bun. Do you know the agony I've endured, denying myself the 9 bows, yearning for a worthy student to inherit my legacy? The cavern crackled with their animosity, an ancient rivalry erupting anew. Amidst the chaos, the Viper, the Axe Saint's disciple, stepped into the fray. His gaze met the King of Death's, a silent challenge glinting in his eyes. The King of Death, eager to test his limits and hone his borrowed power, unleashed the starving sword, a spectral blade crackling with the agony of 1,000 famished souls. The clash of masters and disciples commenced. The King of Death, fueled by his grotesque dance with death, fought with a ferocity that surprised even the seasoned veterans. The Viper, schooled in the celestial arts, countered with a fluid grace, his movements akin to dancing rain. The heavenly demon cult lord, captivated by the display, roared her advice, urging the King of Death to drink the rain, to absorb the Viper's power and turn it against him. The Axe Saint, in turn, bellowed instructions, urging his disciple to exploit the King of Death's supposed weakness in ki, predicting his swift downfall. The cavern reverberated with the echoes of clashing steel and whispered commands. Masters and disciples, locked in a deadly ballet, pushed each other to their limits. It was a battle that transcended mere training, a clash of philosophies and destinies. Exhausted, sweat clinging to his brow, the King of Death approached the heavenly demon cult lord, his voice hoarse yet resolute. He knelt, offering himself as her final disciple, his life and dream an extension of hers. His words, sincere and desperate, hung heavy in the air. Silence stretched, thick and pregnant with possibility. Then, a flicker of amusement danced in the cult lord's eyes. A smile, both cruel and triumphant, graced her lips. "Present the 9 bows," she declared, her voice ringing with authority. "The King of Death shall be my final disciple, the inheritor of my legacy." And so, in the heart of the cavern, under the watchful eyes of ancient rivals, a new bond was forged. The ancient whispers of Murim, steeped in forgotten prayers and lost songs, swirled around Baikang, a woman etched by the embers of Baraya. This wasn't just a melody, it was a symphony of suffering, a primal scream binding all souls in pain. Unlike the masters, blind to its essence, Baikang carried it in her bones, a universal language etched on her lips. Her journey led her to the heart of Murim, the heaven's martial arts storeroom, a vault of forbidden knowledge guarded by power-hungry elites. There, amidst dusty scrolls, she found not glory, but the ghosts of forgotten wrongs. Masters, faces contorted in desperation, begged her to spare the book containing the whispering wind of the cloud dragon, a technique born of darkness. Yet, Baikang remained unyielding. She left them clinging to their secrets, faces twisted in fear and fury, while she vanished, a fiery wisp cloaked in the forbidden. Now, she stood before the imposing gates of Mount Gonvoran, home to the Mosan sect, a bastion of power, an embodiment of the very system that choked the souls of the common folk. Here, beneath the banner of Murim, whispers of dissent were drowned by the clang of swords and the pronouncements of self-proclaimed saviors. With the King of Death by her side, Baikang initiated the 9 bows, a painful ritual of submission, his journey to becoming her disciple. 4 balls he gave, swift and resolute, but at the 5th, the heavenly demon cult lord paused, her gaze piercing. "There are those born good," she rasped, "and those born under a bad omen. Yet, through their own will, they choose goodness. The people you seek to save, will they ever truly be good? The crown you protect, will it ever be truly honorable? And your love, will it ever be perfect? Life is pain, yes, but only human suffering. Bow by agonizing bow, the King of Death endured, reaching the 8th. The 9th, however, demanded ultimate sacrifice, suicide, 4,000 deaths, to complete the ritual. As he knelt to deliver the final blow, the cult lord's hand shot out, stopping his blade. "Enough," she declared, her voice echoing through the mountain. "You, King of Death, are my final disciple." A hug, fierce and unexpected, bound them together. The air crackled with unspoken vows. Even if the world crumbled, the cult lord's doctrine would live on, beating in the king of death's heart, an infernal flame defying the dying light of Murim. He, in turn, whispered back, his neck aching from the grueling ordeal. I understand now. The macabre dance continued, the line between disciple and master blurred, and the king of death, forever marked by the echoes of Baraya. The biting wind whipped around Baikyang and the king of death as they emerged from the cave. His spectral eyes pierced her aura, seeing a year and a half's worth of ki flickering like a dying ember. The clock was ticking, and her legacy needed a vessel. The Sword Emperor, a spectral echo of his former glory, stood by, acknowledging the shared wisdom that transcended worlds. Even in their clashing realities, the truth of suffering resonated between them. Meanwhile, the King of Death's spectral swords murmured softly, sensing the unspoken grief simmering beneath his stoic facade. The Viper approached, offering congratulations on the completed ritual. His own initiation, as he casually revealed, was far less dramatic, a simple agreement whispered to a frail, fading master. But the apothecary, ever sharp-tongued, spilled the truth. The Viper, a titan in his own world, had been strategically recruited, a pawn in the Axe King's desperate bid to surpass the heavenly demon. A bittersweet victory hope danced in the vial the apothecary presented. A cure, yes, but at a heavy cost. Ki, the very essence of their martial prowess, would be surgically excised, leaving them forever mundane. It was a grim choice. The price of survival laid bare after years of battle-forged scars. The Axe King, his weathered face etched with acceptance, volunteered first. He had little time left, and this new disciple, a rare pearl, deserved his knowledge even without the spark of ki. The surgery, shrouded in hushed prayers, proved successful. As dawn painted the sky, the heavenly demon and the King of Death stepped out, the weight of her decision heavy on her. She spoke of her ambition, to eradicate the chill that gnawed at the world's soul. But even her formidable power could only sever peaks, not mend the fissures beneath. And so, with a steely glint in her eyes, she too chose the path of the scalpel, ready to relinquish her own power for a chance at warmth. Enter an old man, wrinkles deeper than the Grand Canyon and eyes sharp enough to pick fleas off a gnat's backside. Lost your chi, have you? He rasped, voice like gravel gargling with dust bunnies. Fascinating. Like watching a fish try to tango. Sure, it wiggles, but you wouldn't call it graceful. The master, weak, but with the spirit of a badger guarding its burrow, shot him a glare that could curdle milk. Feast your eyes then, if you must. Just don't choke on the irony. Their apprentice, barely past teething but with eyes holding the wisdom of a prematurely aged encyclopedia, watched the exchange with the nervous energy of a puppy at a fireworks display. He saw the old man's eyes gleam with morbid curiosity, like a vulture spotting a particularly juicy roadkill. Yet, he also saw the master's burden, heavy as a bag of anvils, etched on her face. As they traded barbs sharper than samurai swords, the story of Murim's demise unraveled like a particularly tragic sock puppet show. The demonic cult, high on a cocktail of ambition and delusion, tangoed with the righteous sect in a waltz of destruction. Murim, caught in the crossfire, ended up looking like a disco ball after a mosh pit. With the eloquence of a Shakespearean parrot on a sugar rush, the old man regaled them with his final duel. A ballet of desperation under a sky the color of ketchup, his chi flaring like a dying supernova before sputtering out like a wet firecracker. The old man, his face a topographical map of bad decisions, he looked at the apprentice, not just as a student, but as a phoenix chick rising from the ashes of Murim. The apprentice, however, saw the world through the lens of an optimist with a particularly strong prescription. Our true battle, master, he declared, puffing out his chest like a peacock trying to impress a discerning pigeon, lies not in clashing steel, but in succession. We, your disciples, are the echoes of your legacy, the remix to your epic mixtape. The battle they couldn't finish would become their legacy, a story not etched in blood, but told in the rise of a new generation. Meanwhile, in the pavilion, the old man and the master sat in comfortable silence, the air thick with unspoken understanding. The master of the demonic cult and the leader of the righteous sect prepared for their final clash, destined to crown one the ultimate master of the Jiangwu. But a twist of fate, spun by the King of Death, shattered the anticipated duel. With a flash of spectral power, the dead walked once more, their memories restored, their martial prowess extinguished. Now, ordinary folk, they stood as living testaments to the King of Death's chilling sacrifice, his own humanity regained at the cost of their ki. Across the shattered landscape, echoes of this macabre miracle rippled. The Bloodguard leader, once a puppet of demonic power, awoke to find himself surrounded by his resurrected comrades, no longer slaves to darkness. The heavenly demon, her eyes blazing with a twisted joy, embraced them like lost children, her cold heart echoing with a flicker of warmth. Even the aged monk, presumed lost to nirvana, returned, eliciting a thunderous hug from the Axe Lord, a reunion laced with the bittersweet tang of lost time. But, amidst the shock and wonder, the demon's hunger for battle roared back. With a cry that shook the mountains, she declared her 990th challenge, the Murim Lord Namgong family. And standing tall against this infernal gauntlet was the head of the Taizeng family Namgong-un, the Axe Saint himself. He, the ancient geezer, met her challenge with a booming bellow, accepting the duel on grounds of surrender or mortal combat. War cries soared, fueled by righteous fury and demonic glee. Mambo-jumbo spells crackled in the air, potent shields against unseen blades. The stage was set for a clash unlike any other, a dance of life and death between the remnants of old Murim and the rising shadow of the heavenly demon. The story, far from over, had taken a chilling turn, and the blood-soaked pages that followed promised a finale etched not just in steel, but in the very soul of the Jiangwu. So let the clash begin, let the swords sing their deadly songs, and let the echoes of this macabre symphony carry far and wide, a testament to the enduring power of hope, even in the face of infernal might. For when heroes rise from the ashes, and villains dance with resurrected souls, the stage is set for a legend unlike any other, a legend written in blood, laughter, and the undying thirst for battle. The heavenly demon stood face to face with a challenge beyond mortals. The stage of unrelenting frost, whispered about in dusty chronicles, sprawled before her, its horizon shimmering as elusive as nirvana. To conquer it, to avert the coming drought, meant pushing the boundaries of human prowess, a feat etched in ice and etched in her fiery soul. But her body, a weapon honed to an exquisite edge, rebelled. Unable to move, she lay still, a warrior trapped in a fortress of flesh. Yet, her spirit blazed as fiercely as ever. A final duel, she craved, not with steel, but with words, a clash of wit to honor her fading strength. And who better to duel than her own disciple, the King of Death? The irony hung heavy, the student now his master's sword in this verbal arena. Though his pride screamed against offering an easy victory, he vowed to grant her wish. The ghosts of a shattered ego be damned. No quarter, master, he promised, his voice a rumbling storm. This duel ends when one of us lies silent. But the heavenly demon, ever unpredictable, had one final surprise. Summoning the spectral blade of the Sword Emperor, a ghost bound by a lost wager, she unleashed a rival worthy of even her waning fire. "Do you know, my pupil," she rasped, "that I have more than one card up my sleeve? Just like the power to resurrect, I hold the key to summon the echoes of the dead." And so, the stage was set for a macabre ballet of intellect. The King of Death, his voice laced with steel, sparred with the ghost of a legend, their words clashing like ethereal sabers. The heavenly demon, a silent observer, struggled to keep pace, her mind a battlefield of fading echoes and the chilling brilliance of her spectral opponent. Yet, the Sword Emperor acknowledged her strength, the champion of one world recognizing the champion of another. "You stand tall, heavenly demon," he boomed, a voice that carried the weight of 1,000 blades. "But tonight, let me show you what a god among gods does to end a beautiful battle." With newfound respect, the King of Death helped his master rise, her gaze now fixed on the ghostly warrior. Introductions were made, the heavenly demon, scourge of the chronicles, and the Sword Emperor, unmatched beneath the heavens. The duel, no longer a shadow play, ignited into a symphony of wit and wisdom, every parry a poem, every riposte a revelation. And in this clash of titans, in this realm of stories whispered on the wind, the final chapter of the heavenly demon's legend began to take shape. For even in the face of her greatest challenge, even as the frost whispered in her ears, the fire of her spirit burned bright, promising a finale as epic as the legends that birthed her. The battle for the stage of unrelenting frost had begun, and the world held its breath to witness the dance of a goddess and a god, their words weaving a tapestry of glory and ice in the twilight of a warrior's reign. The realm thrummed with the invisible clash of titans, blades of wit ringing against shields of wisdom. The king of death, bound not by love but by loyalty and a student's respect, held his master's hand, a silent anchor in the tempest of words. Master and disciple, the two strongest warriors of their age, reveled in this cerebral duel, their smiles blooming like defiant flowers in the face of her fading strength. He is magnificent, is he not? The heavenly demon rasped, her voice a whisper carrying the echo of a goddess. This ghost you summoned, king of death, he might just be the strongest I have ever encountered. A twinge of jealousy, sharp as a hidden blade, pierced the king of death's pride. He yearned to showcase his own skills, to impress his beloved master, but in this arena of pure thought, he was a student still. All he could do was channel the Sword Emperor's words, a conduit for a brilliance beyond his reach. Yet, even with her eyes closed, the heavenly demon saw. "He's huge," she exclaimed, her voice tinged with childlike wonder, and that smile, a warrior confident in his prowess. Bring it on, ghost of legends. And the king of death saw too, not with his mortal eyes, but with the echo of the duel resonating in his soul. He saw the clash of spectral forms, the flash of phantom blades, the ripples of intellectual force shaking the very fabric of the realm. This wasn't mere words, it was a dance of death, a ballet of the mind, breathtaking in its ferocity and grace. How long, heavenly demon? The Sword Emperor boomed, his voice a rolling thunder in the stillness. How long will you dance around my blows? 2 hours you have left, mortal, a far cry from your prime. But tonight, let me show you what it means to fight a god. The fire in the heavenly demon's eyes, previously fading embers, roared back to life. No, she declared, her voice cracking with newfound resolve. Tonight, you face the full might of the storm. Time may be my enemy, but it has also honed my edge. So come, Sword Emperor, let us paint this stage with the colors of eternity. And with that, the duel, no longer a playful joust, escalated into a hurricane of intellect. The king of death watched, enthralled and terrified, as master and ghost clashed in a battle beyond his comprehension. He was a witness to the twilight of a legend, but in its fading light, he saw not defeat, but an incandescent blaze of defiance, a warrior queen facing off against a divine storm. This was her story, woven in words and whispers, the final chapter of the heavenly demon, etched not in ice, but in the burning embers of her indomitable spirit. The world held its breath, for in this arena of the mind, on the stage of unrelenting frost, a goddess and a god danced their final waltz, their every utterance a thunderclap echoing through eternity. The icy battlefield echoed with the clash of titans, where words were weapons and wisdom the shield. The heavenly demon and the Sword Emperor, two masters born of different storms, sparred not just with skill, but with the weight of their own histories. Each blow, each counter, was a story unleashed, a tapestry woven from triumphs and losses, etched in the frost of the stage of unrelenting frost. But amidst the intellectual pyrotechnics, a discordant note emerged. The Sword Emperor, in his zeal to hone the king of death, the heavenly demon's prized pupil, criticized her unorthodox teachings. He needs to taste the depths of sorrow, the spectral warrior boomed, to truly understand the echoes of those he protects. The heavenly demon, accustomed to unwavering devotion, bristled at his tutelage. "He is mine to shape," she hissed, her power flaring like a supernova in defiance. And so, the duel escalated, not simply a clash of minds, but a battle for the soul of the king of death. the child prophesied to rule the demonic cult. He carries the weight of the world, the heavenly demon argued, yet you ask him to wallow in sadness before he's even tasted joy. Let him laugh in the sun before he mourns under the moon. But the Sword Emperor, ancient and wise, remained unmoved. A heart untainted by loss cannot comprehend the true worth of life. He must know heartbreak to be a healer, despair to inspire hope. Their voices mingled with the howling wind, an epic storm of philosophies raging across the icy stage. And at its heart, the King of Death stood silent, a canvas upon which two masters sought to paint their visions. Then, with a cry that pierced the heavens, the heavenly demon unveiled her final gambit, the ninth form of sword solitude death. The world dissolved into a vortex of blinding white, a testament to her defiance, a requiem for her fading legend. Yet, the Sword Emperor stood unfazed. 2 years you endured this icy hell, heavenly demon. 3. Pitted against a shadow. I lived 13 decades, my solitude etched in bone and blood, my beliefs forged in the fires of 1,000 battles. His words were a thunderclap, shattering the heavenly demon's illusion. The ice cracked, the storm faltered, and for the first time she saw herself through his eyes. Not as a queen, but as a child clinging to a throne of frost, lost in the labyrinth of her own despair. And in that moment, defeat wasn't a sting, but a bittersweet epiphany. She looked at the King of Death, her eyes wet with a strange, unfamiliar clarity. All this time, she'd seen only a zealous disciple, blinded by his desire to serve. But now, she saw the pure heart beating beneath, the unadulterated love that had driven him to follow her, a nameless shadow, into the jaws of winter. "Remember me," she whispered, her voice a fragile snowflake melting in the warmth of his gaze. Not as the demon queen, but as a peony. The King of Death, bewildered yet touched, cradled her gently in his arms. "Always," he vowed, his voice thick with a promise etched not in frost, but in the burgeoning warmth of spring. A fiery red peony, blooming against the bleakest winter. And as a thunderous crack echoed through the valley, splitting the frozen mountain and shattering the winter's hold, the heavenly demon closed her eyes. Not in defeat, but in acceptance, knowing that her legacy wouldn't be carved in ice, but nurtured in the heart of the boy who loved her for the flower she could have been. The storm had passed, leaving behind the promise of spring, and on the stage of unrelenting frost, bathed in the warm glow of a nascent sun, a lone peony, red as defiance, bloomed in the memory of the queen who dared to dance with the cold. In the icy aftermath of the final battle, the King of Death cradled the heavenly demon in his arms, a silent sentinel guarding against the encroaching chill. Her leaders, drawn by the echoes of power and the scent of loss, arrived, their faces etched with concern and a flicker of doubt. "Are you the inheritor?" One rasped, their voice betraying the uncertainty gnawing at their hearts. The King of Death, his gaze fixed on the still form in his embrace, replied softly, "I am her disciple, student of her god arts. But the mantle of the heavenly demon is not mine to claim." His words hung heavy in the air, a challenge to their preconceptions. A leader, disbelieving, demanded proof. "Show us the first form of the sword of starving death." "Prove your worth," inheritor the King of Death, burdened by grief but resolute, agreed. With a sigh that echoed the wind through frozen valleys, he unleashed the first strike of the deadly art. Each movement, imbued with the echoes of his master's teachings, resonated with power. As the form unfolded, its intricate beauty belying its lethal potential, the doubt in the leader's eyes began to melt. Recognition dawned, followed by grudging respect. They bowed, accepting him not as lord, but as vice-lord, heir to the heavenly demon's legacy. The 4 demon lords, their loyalty unyielding, pledged themselves to his command. And as the King of Death held the heavenly demon's hand, a final flicker of warmth before the eternal cold, the Demon King, his voice rasping with the weight of years, declared, "While I draw breath, the shadow shall endure." The stage cleared, the challenge won. The King of Death was sent back to the library, showered in accolades and congratulations. The librarian kid, his eyes sparkling with youthful wonder, beamed at his return. "Please," the book whispered, its final words echoing in the stillness, Baraya. A simple plea, a thread of hope woven into the tapestry of the tale. But as the King of Death surveyed the scene, a chill unlike the icy winds of the stage of unrelenting frost crept through him. The library, once bustling with life, lay silent. All around him, figures lay sprawled, lost in an unexpected slumber. The King of Death, fresh from conquering the icy domain of the stage of unrelenting frost, strode through the threshold, expecting a hero's welcome. But instead, an eerie silence greeted him. The once lively crowd lay sprawled on the floor, seemingly lost in an unnatural slumber. His gaze fell upon the librarian kid, a wide-eyed grin plastered across his youthful face. "Welcome back, Lord Death," he chirped, a tad too chirpily. "But I had to borrow some time with you alone." A tremor of fury resonated in the King of Death's chest. "You put them to sleep. My comrades, just like that." The librarian kid waved a dismissive hand. "Oh, please. They're dead weight. You carried us all on your back, finished the whole stage. They're just applause machines." A cold glint flickered in the King of Death's eyes. "Comrades, is that what you call them? Mere tools for your amusement." The librarian kid, unfazed, leaned closer, a glint of admiration in his eyes. Admirable sentiments. Like something out of a movie, right? But see, with them out of the picture, we can have a proper chat, just you and me. Everyone's dying to gush, but, well, you understand. His gaze drifted towards a girl with hair the color of twilight, one the King of Death had noticed in the throng. He quickly masked his interest, turning back to the disconcertingly enthusiastic librarian. "Chat. Right," the King of Death muttered, the librarian's manic energy setting his teeth on edge. Then, without warning, the kid produced a vial and a pair of shears, his eyes shining with a creepy zeal. "Hair sample, please. Your nails. Fingernails, toenails. Ah, perfection. You see, you're the purest character ever, a hero straight out of a novel. I had to collect data." The King of Death recoiled, a wave of nausea washing over him. "Enough. This is beyond creepy," but the librarian, oblivious to his discomfort, chattered on. "Bathwater. Maybe later, for eBay. That pinky toenail. Pure narrative gold." The King of Death finally exploded. "Enough. I understand your admiration, but this is madness." Yet, beneath the anger, a glimmer of understanding dawned. The librarian, moved by the King of Death's actions, his choice to forego power and remain true to himself, saw him as the ideal literary hero. This reality, once confined to pages, had become tangible through his actions. Suddenly, the librarian kid's demeanor shifted. "Lord Death," he said, his voice now tinged with awe, "the Demon King asked me, happy ending or bad. But stories, they have their own paths, don't they? Whatever will be the King of Death." Intrigued, met his gaze. "Librarian, but not author, you say?" The librarian kid grinned. "Precisely. I read, I observe, but I never rewrite. Come, Lord Death, I have revelations to share." And so, amidst the slumbering forms of the crowd, the King of Death, drawn by the promise of hidden knowledge, followed the librarian kid deeper into the labyrinthine library. The final chapter of his journey had begun, not with a bang, but with a whisper, promising secrets as intricate and unsettling as the librarian kid himself. The war was over, the duel won, but the real story, it seemed, was just beginning.
Hamustra disclosed to Kim Gong-jae the origin of the dreaded zombie virus. Contrary to a natural disaster, Hamustra unveiled that this epidemic emerged from the corpse of a constellation. As Hamustra gestured towards the horizon, the goddess of protection, ever vigilant, detected an ominous energy pervading the atmosphere. Seizing the moment, Hamustra questioned Kim Gong-jae about his encounters with fallen constellations and the haunting memories of Estelle. He then inquired about the sight of a corpse left behind by a deceased constellation, a rare spectacle in their cosmic existence that Kim Gong-jae had yet to witness. Encouraged by Hamustra, Kim Gong-jae observed the ghastly remains of a fallen celestial being, accompanied by the detestable presence of the second sister's holy sword of protection, the sword of compassion. Perplexed, Kim Gong-jae expressed his ability to hear the voice of the supposedly dead entity. Hamustra clarified that what resonated was not life but the lingering resentment of the deceased constellation. The horrific deaths of constellations, like the yellow dragon in the Great Lake, birthed a curse that manifested as the zombie epidemic plaguing their world. Haunted by memories of his master, Kim Gong-jae speculated on the manner of the constellation's demise and sought to uncover the culprit behind this celestial tragedy. Hamustra hinted at Lafanta Egim, the infamous constellation killer who roamed worlds, leaving them defenseless like fortresses without walls. The enigmatic motivations behind constellation killings remained beyond Hamustra's knowledge, as he, despite being all-knowing, remained powerless to intervene. In a twist of fate, Hamustra acknowledged Kim Gong-jae's unique role, an agent of inevitability rather than coincidence or fate. The Yellow Dragon's cruel demise hinted at a wicked force at play, and Hamustra urged Kim Gong-jae to unravel the truth behind this cosmic mystery. With determination, Kim Gong-jae sought guidance from the goddess of protection on retrieving her sister, initiating a struggle against the resistance of the Sword of Compassion as he endeavored to reunite the celestial siblings and confront the impending doom threatening Hamustra's world. As Kim Gong-jae grappled with the resistance of the Sword of Compassion, the ethereal weapon manifested itself as a creature startled from slumber, a black panther roused by an unexpected touch. The sword inquired of the goddess of protection whether Kim Gong-jae had betrayed Lafanta Egim, seeking assurance of his worthiness as a new master. The goddess of protection, in turn, assured the sword that she consoled her sister. The Sword of Compassion, questioning Kim Gong-jae's worthiness, emphasized the need for a master of strength and acknowledged Constellation's powerful essence. It refused to recognize Kim Gong-jae until he could prove himself by becoming someone's idol and exhibiting compassion for others. To test his worthiness, the sword requested temporary access to Kim Gong-jae's body and heart to delve into his memories. Disagreeing with the sword's demand, the goddess of protection argued that she could vouch for Kim Gong-jae's worthiness as she traveled with him. Despite this, Kim Gong-jae, unwilling to carry a sword he couldn't trust, agreed to the sword's terms. With a resolve to prove his compassion, Kim Gong-jae invited the sword to scrutinize his memories. The Sword of Compassion initiated a profound examination, witnessing Kim Gong-jae's compassion for those he encountered. Kim Gong-jae, admitting his imperfections and vulnerability to good intentions, shared his desire to be perceived as a good person. He delved into the thoughts of his previous master, questioning the morality of hunting constellations and expressing his conviction that it was wrong. The Sword of Compassion questioned Kim Gong-jae's stance on Lafanta Egim, prompting a response that he would consider killing him if he deserved it. The sword sought a promise that Kim Gong-jae wouldn't let personal emotions cloud his judgment, and though uncertain, he promised to do his best. In return, he asked the sword to remind him and guide him back if needed. Pledging her allegiance, the Sword of Compassion revealed her ability, inflicting pain without wounds. She vowed to serve her new master with the best intentions. As the goddess of protection radiated brightness, the dragon vanished, and Hamustra remarked on the end of the season of death, ushering in the scent of spring. In a reflective moment, Kim Gong-jae questioned Hamustra's affection for Lafanta Egim, who could discern others' thoughts. Hamustra confessed his desire to be a character in a novel he admired and clarified that he wanted to be a character from the story's inception. As the conversation delved deeper, Hamustra posed a question to Kim Gong-jae. Why didn't he kill his master and make her a soul summon? Kim Gong-jae began to answer, but Hamustra interjected, revealing his reluctance to be entangled in other stories. He expressed the desire for Lafanta Egim to visit the library of all creation, allowing him to be part of her story, even if it meant meeting his end at the protagonist's hands. In Hamustra's eyes, this would be the ultimate epilogue, a fitting conclusion to his existence. The profound exchange left Kim Gong-jae contemplating the intricate threads that wove together the tales of their interconnected worlds. In the aftermath of the funeral, Kim Gong-jae received surprising news about his master's demise. As he was informed, her body had melted into a beautiful flower shortly after the snow had melted. Her disciples marveled at the spectacle, considering it a remarkable transformation fueled by her pure energy. The disciples were amazed that instead of a curse, their master had become a flower, an extraordinary departure from the fate of constellations. Kim Gong-jae, acknowledging the uniqueness of the situation, decided to forego the funeral arrangements. Instead, he suggested a duel among the disciples to showcase the sword techniques their master had imparted to them. This decision reflected Kim Gong-jae's respect for his master's teachings and his desire to honor her legacy through a display of martial prowess. Viper at the library shared a significant development with Kim Gong-jae. The Heavenly Martial Clan, following his example, would be relocating to the 22nd floor. Viper, now the Murim Alliance leader, was determined to be a formidable guardian for his half-crippled master. Despite the sorrow over Kim Gong-jae's master's death, Viper saw an opportunity to strengthen his disciples and guild members. Observing Viper's leadership skills, Kim Gong-jae acknowledged that he was not merely an otaku but also an adept leader who cared for his members. Viper, though humble, expressed his dedication to fulfilling his responsibilities. Meanwhile, Sword Emperor, eager for another challenge, requested a new martial arts genre for the next stage. In the midst of these interactions, Hamustra casually groomed Kim Gong-jae. While the Master Alchemist shared a positive update, they had successfully produced a mass vaccine for the zombie virus. Excited about expanding her business, Master Alchemist faced the challenge of high estate prices. Kim Gong-jae intervened, offering to cover all expenses and securing her a prime spot on the 20th floor. In return, he requested priority for his future requests, a deal that Master Alchemist gladly accepted. The Medicine King, with an old store and a 3-story building, voiced his desire for a larger space due to his knee troubles. The floor witnessed bustling activity as Master Alchemist set up her business, aided by Estelle, and Yosuha reluctantly became a cheerleader for the skeletons. People flocked to the martial arts training hall, inspired by Kim Gong-jae's leadership. Anastasia expressed amazement at the transformation of the 20th floor, predicting that with the current momentum, they could potentially clear the 30th floor before the month's end. However, amidst the optimism, a somber announcement shattered the moment: the raid on the 25th floor had failed. The news sent ripples of concern through the community, hinting at challenges ahead in their quest to ascend the tower. In the enchanting halls of Summerwin Academy, where magic and mystery entwined with the ebb and flow of ordinary life, a revelation unfolded, turning an otherwise commonplace academy story into a tale of romance and fantasy. The academy, with its long history, was a melting pot of friendships and rivalries, love and envy. Little did the students know that beneath their feet lay an artifact powerful enough to doom the world, a secret sealed for centuries. The catalyst for this unexpected turn of events was the antagonist, driven by jealousy, who unleashed the great demon by breaking the seal on the artifact. The result was catastrophic: the end of the world. Anastasia, along with the Count and the Paladin, stood in shock as their efforts failed. Hamustra, the omniscient narrator of this mystical tale, acknowledged the futility of dwelling on a failed raid. The milk had been spilled, irreversible. But hope lingered as Hamustra turned his gaze toward Kim Gong-jae, a reader who found himself entangled in this fantastical narrative. Kim Gong-jae, a novice in romance stories, faced a dilemma. He contemplated the dire situation in the academy's restroom, a place of quiet reflection. The fate of the world rested on his shoulders, and he decided to take matters into his own hands. Despite his lack of experience in romance, he couldn't abandon the Paladin and the Count to their impending doom. Sword Emperor suggested another raid, but Kim Gong-jae had a different plan. He revealed a revelation: the goddess of protection reacted when the book was sealed, indicating the presence of her sister sword in that world. Sword Emperor encouraged Kim Gong-jae to join another martial arts realm, but he was resolute in confronting the romance stage. With determination, Kim Gong-jae chose to reset time by committing suicide, presenting himself once more to face the challenge. The Paladin and the Count questioned his decision, expressing concern about his lack of experience in romance. Undeterred, Kim Gong-jae insisted, driven by a gut feeling about the impending stage. Marcus and Anastasia supported his decision, urging the Paladin to stand down. The time came for Kim Gong-jae to select his companions for the task. Surveying the available choices, Anastasia seemed a bit peculiar to Kim Gong-jae, while the Paladin's metaphors made her appear stranger. The Countess, brimming with arrogance, didn't appeal to him. His eye settled on Heresy Inquisitor, a figure that surprised the guild leaders. Despite concerns about his psychopathic tendencies, Kim Gong-jae believed Heresy Inquisitor's unique qualities could prove beneficial. Anastasia, warning Kim Gong-jae about heresy inquisitor's nature, questioned his choice. Kim Gong-jae, admitting his lack of expertise in romance, emphasized the importance of appearances in such stories. Anastasia agreed, acknowledging heresy inquisitor's ability to use holy magic. Hamustra, intrigued by the duo, rewarded Kim Gong-jae with a face blindness card, suggesting its usefulness in the romance genre. With a teleportation to a pivotal moment, 7 days before the unfortunate discontinuation of the book, Hamustra expressed excitement for the unfolding story and hoped for a great ending. In the world of romance, Kim Gong-jae and Heresy Inquisitor emerged as the butler and the young lady, their unconventional pairing promising an original and captivating narrative in the ever-evolving chronicles of Summerwin Academy. In the opulent ballroom of the Empire, a prestigious event for the high-status individuals, the Lady of the Silver Lily found herself facing an unexpected challenge. The lady, a daughter of a duke and the second highest status in the empire, harbored a deep grudge. Her fiancé, the crown prince, had been taken away by a reincarnated student, an act that would bring about the end of the revelation in 7 days. The Lady of the Silver Lily, a prominent figure with authority, confronted Heresy Inquisitor and Kim Gong-jae. Infuriated by their presence at the high-status ball, she slapped Heresy Inquisitor, deeming her rude and imbecilic. Confused, Heresy Inquisitor questioned her actions and received another slap. The Lady of the Silver Lily accused her of feigning ignorance and intending to mock her till the end. In response, the Lady of the Silver Lily ordered the servants to remove Kim Gong-jae and Heresy Inquisitor from the ball immediately. Heresy Inquisitor, rather than showing remorse, mocked the lady further, suggesting she might be in pain and need medical attention. The Lady of the Silver Lily's irritation grew, and she demanded that they be sent to prison. Thrown into prison, Heresy Inquisitor found amusement in her apparent victory, reveling in the thought of becoming the protagonist of the story. Kim Gong-jae, however, saw through the facade of victory and questioned the consequences of their actions. Inside the prison, Heresy Inquisitor contemplated the unexpected turn of events in her life. As a child, she had often been forced to cross-dress due to her feminine appearance. Now, she found herself in the unexpected role of a girl in the story. Kim Gong-jae observed her endless optimism, contemplating the duo's unique combination of skills. Heresy Inquisitor, realizing the potential challenges of the upcoming stage, used his magic to alter his vocal cords, creating a more refined and ladylike voice. Kim Gong-jae acknowledged the advantage of their combined skills, the holy techniques of Heresy Inquisitor and Kim Gong-jae's return skill. However, Heresy Inquisitor sensed a change in Kim Gong-jae's demeanor since the previous stage, a loneliness stemming from the loss of his master. Kim Gong-jae sought reassurance, asking if Heresy Inquisitor could read emotions. Affirmative, Heresy Inquisitor delved into the concept of emotions, sensing something amiss since their imprisonment. Suspecting foul play, Heresy Inquisitor noted the absence of guards and sensed a group of assassins outside the prison walls. Suddenly, the assassins ambushed them, intending to capture Heresy Inquisitor and eliminate Kim Gong-jae. A skirmish ensued, with Kim Gong-jae attacking while Heresy Inquisitor urged restraint to extract information. Upon capturing the assassins, Heresy Inquisitor presented them with 3 options: immediate death, truth under torture, or voluntary surrender of information. One defiant assassin chose death, while the others opted to reveal the truth without further resistance. Interrogating them, Kim Gong-jae used his skills to read their thoughts. He uncovered a plot orchestrated by someone with knowledge of the Academy's security and authority within the institution. The Lady of the Silver Lily was not the culprit. Instead, the true mastermind sought to frame her as the villainess. They set up the assassination attempt to make it appear as though the Lady of the Silver Lily was behind the attack. A mysterious figure entered the cell, embracing Heresy Inquisitor and addressing her as Sylvia, the sole heir to the Empire, the Crown Prince. Kim Gong-jae looked on with disgust, realizing that their challenges were far from over. The intricate web of deception and betrayal within Summerwin Academy had only just begun to unravel. In the grand halls of the Empire, last year witnessed the bestowal of titles upon 2 extraordinary ladies by the Emperor himself. Lady Sylvia of Baron Evenair, described as a golden blossom in a garden of yellow flowers, earned the title of Lady Golden Cup. The other, a flower painted silver so as not to lose a single petal, was named Lady Silver Lily. Among the noble ladies, those bestowed with titles by the Emperor held the highest regard. sparking a storm of anticipation within the academy. Inside the prison cell, Kim Gong-jae observed the unfolding events with a sense of detachment. The Crown Prince, seemingly unaffected by the recent assassination attempt, engaged in a banter with Kim Gong-jae. Annoyed by the prince's flippant demeanor, Kim Gong-jae found him to be an irritating figure. As the Crown Prince spoke, Kim Gong-jae suspected that he was the mastermind behind the attacks and kidnappings. With a sly smile, Kim Gong-jae couldn't help but respond to the prince's remarks about luck and survival. However, he was startled as his mouth seemed to move on its own, questioning the prince about a sword's ability to protect its owner. Kim Gong-jae realized the strange immersion into his character, akin to the roles of the paladin and countess in the previous stage. Recalling the failed attempts of the paladin and countess, Kim Gong-jae urged the Crown Prince to uncover the culprits behind the knight's attacks. The Crown Prince agreed, assigning Heresy Inquisitor to protect herself for the time being. However, Kim Gong-jae, unable to control his mouth, suggested that Heresy Inquisitor should rest in her quarters, claiming discomfort in her current situation. Sword Emperor and Heresy Inquisitor were bewildered by Kim Gong-jae's behavior, questioning his sanity. As the Crown Prince tried to embrace Heresy Inquisitor, she rushed to Kim Gong-jae, urging him to return to their dormitory. Kim Gong-jae, trying to regain control, reminded Heresy Inquisitor of their mission to clear the stage. Kim Gong-jae and Heresy Inquisitor discussed their immersion rates, realizing the potential danger of their increasing connection to the characters. Kim Gong-jae contemplated the need for a safety mechanism, considering a secret password to snap out of the immersive situations they were facing. As they deliberated, the Lady of the Silver Lily entered the scene, unsettling Heresy Inquisitor. Kim Gong-jae, affected by the immersive experience, found his immersion rate increasing even further. The intricate web of relationships and the imminent danger within the academy continued to unfold, leaving Kim Gong-jae and Heresy Inquisitor in a precarious situation. Heresy Inquisitor and Kim Gong-jae found themselves caught in the complex web of relationships within the academy. As they navigated the intricate plot lines, the norms of romance in this fantasy genre demanded their utmost attention. In the hallway, Heresy Inquisitor laughed, seemingly unaffected by the recent events. Kim Gong-jae, feeling the need to bring him back to reality, attempted to wake him. The Lady of the Silver Lily, having overheard the laughter, approached them. She observed Heresy Inquisitor, seemingly unharmed, and remarked on her resilience, comparing her to a tough weed that thrived in the borderlands of the castle. Heresy Inquisitor, however, responded with sharp words, mocking the Lady of the Silver Lily for checking on her health and questioning the propriety of slapping someone at a dance. Kim Gong-jae intervened, seeking forgiveness for Heresy Inquisitor's behavior, explaining that she was still in shock from the recent attacks. Despite the protests of the Lady of the Silver Lily's servants, she allowed them to leave, acknowledging Kim Gong-jae's words. Outside, Kim Gong-jae attempted to wake Heresy Inquisitor from the synchronization, and both were shocked by the things she had said. Back at the dormitory, Kim Gong-jae proposed a secret code to snap out of synchronization. The code was, when the spring comes, and Heresy Inquisitor should respond with, Magnolia's wither. They practiced the code to ensure it worked when needed. As they discussed their plan, Kim Gong-jae explained that the Lady of the Silver Lily was the villain, and the Crown Prince, her fiancé, would bring about the end of the world if he fell in love with Heresy Inquisitor. The dilemma they faced was whether to make the Lady of the Silver Lily and the Crown Prince love each other or destroy their love completely. Heresy Inquisitor questioned the first option, asking if it meant breaking them up. Admitting her lack of knowledge in relationships, she sought guidance from Kim Gong-jae. Realizing that syncing with their characters affected their actions, Kim Gong-jae decided they needed to play the roles of a bad butler and a bad lady. To assist them in their act, Kim Gong-jae summoned Yo So-ha. Two ladies strolled through the academy grounds, chatting about their pleasant night's sleep and craving a hearty breakfast. Little did they know that their day would take an unexpected turn as they bumped into Heresy Inquisitor, a character known for her sharp tongue and unpredictable actions. Heresy Inquisitor, with her audacious demeanor, recounted her night filled with an attempted kidnapping. As she retold the tale, her words were so potent that they caused one of the ladies to faint. Unfazed, Heresy Inquisitor proceeded to mock another lady with red hair, adding a touch of chaos to the morning. Expressing gratitude to Kim Gong-jae for maintaining their synchronization level during these mischievous acts, Heresy Inquisitor humorously declared that she had learned from the best bad person in the world, none other than Yosuha. Gossips about Heresy Inquisitor's sudden transformation into a bad flower spread like wildfire among the Academy's inhabitants. Soon, the servants of the Lady of the Silver Lily confronted Kim Gong-jae, demanding a fight to restore their mistress's honor. Kim Gong-jae, however, cunningly proposed a condition, a payment of 5 gold coins for each attempt to fight him. The servants, having only silver coins, reluctantly agreed, and Kim Gong-jae subtly hinted at the idea of experiencing a week of starvation. Amidst the commotion, Crown Prince arrived, puzzled by the spectacle. Engaging in a conversation with Kim Gong-jae, Crown Prince asserted that a mere butler like him was a failure. Unperturbed, Kim Gong-jae responded that he wasn't a failure until his boss deemed him one. Crown Prince attempted to convince Heresy Inquisitor to dismiss Kim Gong-jae in favor of the numerous servants at her disposal. The tension escalated as Crown Prince discussed the ambush, claiming they were still investigating. Heresy Inquisitor, however, pressed him about the perfume he wore and questioned if he knew who orchestrated the attack. She asserted that without Kim Gong-jae, she would have been in peril. Crown Prince, observing the change in Heresy Inquisitor's behavior, compared her to a kaleidoscope with many colors. In an unexpected turn, they exchanged sarcastic laughs, and the goddess of protection hinted at Kim Gong-jae's lack of romantic experience, attributing Crown Prince's persistence to Heresy Inquisitor's naivety. As the tension heightened, Kim Gong-jae purposely provoked Crown Prince, suggesting that he was always distant while Heresy Inquisitor stood by his side. Crown Prince, fueled by passion, declared that he would attend to Heresy Inquisitor's needs, playing the role of both prince and butler. The ladies observed the scene in awe, interpreting Crown Prince's actions as a display of intense love for Heresy Inquisitor. Just as the atmosphere became charged with emotion, the Lady of the Silver Lily made a dramatic entrance, adding a new layer of intrigue to the unfolding romance in the Academy. Crown Prince stood amidst a dilemma of love, loyalty, and deceit. He passionately proclaimed his unwavering affection for the Lady of the Silver Lily, questioning if anyone else could love her with such intensity, caress her with such tenderness, and look at her with eyes so desperate. His words echoed with possessiveness and determination to erase any potential rivals. In the grand halls of the Academy, Crown Prince addressed the Lady of the Silver Lily, inquiring about her health after purportedly taking a sick leave that morning. The murmurs of the ladies behind her back added a layer of mystery to the scene. The Lady of the Silver Lily responded graciously, expressing gratitude for Crown Prince's concern and suggesting a casual stroll. However, her choice of company raised eyebrows as she invited not only Crown Prince but also Heresy Inquisitor. Observing this, Kim Gong-jae sensed danger in Heresy Inquisitor joining them. He questioned her synchronization rate, learning it had reached 17%, and the risk of increasing further if they accompanied the royal pair. Heresy Inquisitor, confident that nothing significant would happen with idle observation, reassured Kim Gong-jae. They practiced their secret words, preparing for any unforeseen developments. Accompanying the Lady of the Silver Lily and Crown Prince, they ventured to the royal residence. However, the seemingly casual stroll was a ruse. The Lady of the Silver Lily revealed that the true purpose was to discuss the recent assassination attempt on her and Crown Prince's involvement. In the private quarters, a sense of tension hung in the air as the Lady of the Silver Lily addressed the missing servants, and led them to discover 3 beaten assassins tied to chairs. She claimed they sought personal revenge, but Kim Gong-jae suspected a cover-up. The Lady of the Silver Lily, unfazed by the sight of the injured, calmly interrogated one of the assassins. The assassin spun a tale accusing Heresy Inquisitor of seduction and plotting against Crown Prince. Kim Gong-jae recognized the falsehood and the sinister manipulations of the Lady of the Silver Lily, the true orchestrator of the world's destruction. The Lady of the Silver Lily then presented a sword to Crown Prince, offering him a choice: report the incident to the authorities or execute the culprits immediately. Crown Prince, torn between love and duty, faced a pivotal moment that would shape the course of their fantastical tale. The Lady of the Silver Lily's calculated moves had set the stage for a dramatic turn of events, leaving the fate of the assassins and the truth hanging in the balance. In the shadows of duty and power, the Lady of the Silver Lily found herself entangled in a web of complexities, driven by the haunting words of her deceased mother. The burden of sacrifice and the expectation of receiving nothing in return echoed in her mind as she faced the unfolding events. In the cellar, the Lady of the Silver Lily urged Crown Prince to bestow punishment upon the accused assassins. The weight of responsibility pressed upon him as he grappled with the decision. The Lady of the Silver Lily questioned whether she should appeal to a higher court, displaying a facade of innocence. However, Heresy Inquisitor saw through the charade. She cynically addressed Crown Prince, acknowledging his skill in manipulating situations like the present one. Heresy Inquisitor highlighted the impending doom for the Lady of the Silver Lily, the only one not benefiting from the orchestrated plan. The Lady of the Silver Lily remained oblivious, her naivety exposed by Heresy Inquisitor's piercing insights. As the discussion unfolded, Heresy Inquisitor questioned the Lady of the Silver Lily's motives, asking if it was out of love or duty. The Lady of the Silver Lily, unable to navigate the complexities of the situation, clung to her sense of duty and loyalty to the prince. In a surprising turn, Kim Gong-jae's synchronization activated, and he proposed a compromise. Each of the three, he Crown Prince, the Lady of the Silver Lily, and himself, should punish one servant. Crown Prince, though hesitant, agreed with Kim Gong-jae's suggestion. However, the Lady of the Silver Lily resisted, asserting that a king shouldn't share his responsibility. In a fit of frustration, Crown Prince threw a sword at the Lady of the Silver Lily, accusing her of pushing him to shed blood. He questioned the number of lives he had already sacrificed for her ambitions. The Lady of the Silver Lily, unyielding, asked him to take responsibility and give the order to execute the remaining assassins. Crown Prince, torn between duty and morality, ultimately ordered the Lady of the Silver Lily to carry out the execution. The Lady of the Silver Lily, with an air of ruthlessness, swiftly dispatched the assassins, declaring them accomplices. When she handed the sword to Heresy Inquisitor, an eerie fascination flickered in Heresy Inquisitor's eyes as she executed the assassin without hesitation. In the aftermath, Kim Gong-jae confronted Crown Prince about his attempt to escape responsibility. Kim Gong-jae's synchronization increased as he condemned Crown Prince for evading blame, and leaving the Lady of the Silver Lily to carry out the dirty work. Forced to face the harsh reality of his actions, Crown Prince finally took responsibility for the last execution. The Lady of the Silver Lily, in her cold and calculating manner, commended Crown Prince for upholding the laws of the empire. She urged him to harden his heart, emphasizing that the fate of the empire rested on his shoulders. The intricate dance of power and morality continued, leaving an indelible mark on the destinies of these characters. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe the channel for more updates.